What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode 63 of C vs Villains. I am your host JB and I am here with the Council of Villains, Vash and Chris, and we are going to be breaking down all of the news coming out of Star Wars Celebration. Well, not all of it. We're going to break down some of the biggest news that came out on the first day and some of the news that came out today, and then we're going to break down the epic premiere of Obi-Wan Kenobi. We have so much great stuff to get into, but Chris, thank you so much for joining us for this episode.
Thanks for having me back, man. It's always a pleasure. The Batman has returned to the Villains podcast.
No. I think you're the Sith. You're probably the fifth, the fifth brother.
I'm the 100th brother.
They have a lot of brothers and sisters out there, so yeah.
They do. Vash, it's good to see you, man. We haven't done a show together in 3 weeks now? Because I was on vacation.
I don't know. Yeah, it's true because I was hosting the past two or one episode.
Wow.
And then I did anime lately and just on vacation. So yeah, it's been a while. So glad to see you. I hope you're doing better. I hope you survived from the pit that our boy Boba Fett fell through. I'm drawing blank on the
Sarlacc pit.
Thank you, Sarlacc pit. So hopefully you survive from there. Hopefully you're good. But we're here, Star Wars Day, Star Wars celebration. Hope to all the fans that are out there and enjoying the celebration. All the people are enjoying their time. It's a good time to be a Star Wars fan. And if you aren't a fan, then do you, my guy.
Leave a like and get out.
Right?
That too.
Yeah, but we have so much great shit to talk about. Like Vash said, it is a great time to be a Star Wars fan. Star Wars Celebration has already given us so much cool shit. And like I said, we got a lot of stuff to get into. So let's just get into the news. So real quick, wanted to make a quick announcement. You've got to see this. Episode 9 is available right now. Brad and Blake reviewed Jackass 4.5, Men and Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. So definitely check it out. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing to the pod. Leave them a comment. Let them know that the council sent you. And yeah. So definitely go over there and let them know that they're doing a good job, because I love that podcast. It's one of my favorite podcasts, and I get to say that I produce it. So make sure you guys show them some love. So first news topic that I wanted to get into was we finally have a release date for The Mandalorian Season 3. So Mando Season 3 is going to be hitting Disney Plus in February 2023. Very excited. I thought we would have to wait till maybe, mid 2023, maybe closer to the end of 2023. But this is right at the beginning. Very, very excited for this. It's going to take place on Mandalore, like we suspected from Mando Season 2 and from the Book of Boba Fett. We know once he took off his helmet,
Mando
he would
Season
have to
2.5.
Yeah, right? He would have to go to Mandalore in order to pretty much get back his honor and to be able to actually completely call himself a Mandalorian again. So very excited for that. Katie Sackhoff is confirmed to be back as Bo-Katan. I got this image from Star Wars Celebration. This is actually really cool of her sitting on the throne of Mandalore. I thought that was dope as fuck to see.
She's looking pretty distraught in this photo.
Very. I mean, because she wants that Darksaber. She lost
it.
She's
got to earn it, though.
It's going to be an interesting fight whenever that does happen. Or do you even think it will happen?
I think it will happen, because this is something that Bo-Katan has wanted for a very long time. And we already know that she feels a little guilty about how things played out with the Empire and Mandalore after Rebels, and her just being handed the Darksaber, basically. So I think Bo-Katan's looking for a little bit of redemption, and I think she wants to earn the Darksaber this time around. So while Din and Bo have been like allies in the past, I do think there's something within her that she's going to want it back.
I feel like it could be that could be the case, but also Bo-Katan could see the type of leader that Mando is and what he's doing Grogu, and that part could be changing her way of not maybe wanting or needing the Darksaber, and maybe she could just be a leader without it. Because remember that, like you said, girl was given the Darksaber as a gift from Sabine.
Right.
So we also probably might see Sabine in the near future of Season 3. Who knows? So that could also be a good cause and effect of that could be her telling, hey, Bo-Katan, why are you still trying to get the Darksaber? You could be some type of leader without it. That could also be like an interesting route for a character of where she doesn't feel like the need to use this weapon no more.
Right. Imagine if the Mandalorian is this like chosen one tale where we watch Din go from bounty hunter to ruler of Mandalore. I don't know how I feel about that, to be perfectly honest. Like, I don't know if he is cut out to be in that position,
But
but
that would
it
be
would
a
certainly be interesting to see.
that'd be a beautiful idea because, like you said, it's not we as fans would not know how that route will go because he went from a bounty hunter and everything. But it would be nice to not have that type of chosen idea route, like the Skywalkers and everything. But for him, he's just been leading himself from trial tribulation because of Grogu. So maybe the Force is what brought him in there. So it's not really what he chose to, but it's what the Force is bringing. So it kind of feels really refreshing, not having the idea of chosen one or that he has to, but it's because he felt like he needs to actually lead a tribe because he left his old tribe. So
Yeah.
that'd be interesting that he leads a new one where he doesn't feel like he got forced to, pun intended.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want him to be King of Mandalore, but I wouldn't be upset if it happened. Like I wouldn't be upset at all. Last piece of news here on Mando Season 3, Bryce Dallas Howard is confirmed to come back to direct another episode. I think she's a brilliant director. Like, I've loved every
Agreed.
single episode she's directed. Her episode of Book of Boba Fett is one of my favorites. I love her episode from Season 1, especially Mando Season 2, the episode she directed in Season 2. I absolutely love her work. What about you guys?
Yeah, I love it too. In season 2, she directed the episode where they're on a boat, right? And that's the first episode that Mando meets Bo-Katan in, isn't it?
Yes.
If I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
Love that
And
episode.
look, despite how I feel about the episode that she directed in the context of the Book of Boba Fett, it was a well-crafted episode and a great Star Wars episode. And that's all I'll say about that.
Vash, what about you?
I'm glad she's coming back to do more work because it means that fans and also, aka the most important people, Lucasfilm, actually like her work and want to see more work done by her, and that's good. Bring more people that the fans had a good reception from, but also that you could bring more content to your continuity where these people already know how to do Star Wars content. Yes, Book of Boba Fett maybe not have been her best director, maybe it was a script, who knows? But at the end of the day, she did what she did and she got the job done. And now let's move on to the next one.
I'm a
To be
lot
clear-
higher on Book of Boba Fett than a lot of people.
Just to be clear about my opinion, the episode is fantastic, but it's an episode of Mandalorian season 2.5 and not an episode of the Book of Boba Fett. But the episode itself, if you were to like take it out of context and it was like the Mandalorian holiday special, like let's see what Mando's up to. Bryce Dallas Howard did a fantastic job. She loves playing in that sandbox. And you can tell in all the interviews that she has and all that stuff. So I'm excited for her to come back to Star Wars.
Definitely. So next piece of news, let's move on to some Ahsoka news. So Ahsoka is going to be released sometime in 2023. We don't have a month just yet. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead is going to be starring in Ahsoka as well. So I'm very excited for this as well. Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, perfect casting. I love her. I've been in love with her my whole life. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she's an incredible actress and beyond versatile. So very excited to see her in Ahsoka as well. Now that we know that Mando Season 3 is February 2023, do we anticipate that Ahsoka would be like May 2023?
I would think so. Yeah, later, definitely like later in the year, probably in the summer months.
I don't know if I'm in the minority, but I'm at this point with Star Wars and Marvel content. Slow the fuck down. I don't know why they need to rush. Like, I get it. Like, with the sequel trilogy, it is what it is. What happened, people can feel how they feel. Mando,
what
great
sequel trilogy?
That's why I'm leaving as is. Mando, though, they brought back the Star Wars love from me, and that's very hard for me to bring that. And like Chris, James, and other people out there of how we felt for the sequel trilogy. Mando season 1, Mando season 2, Mando 2.5, great as well to an extent. So, but at the same time, you saw the rushness from 2.5, aka Book of Boba Fett. You felt like maybe it needed more time. Script wasn't it? With Mando season 3 being next year, with Ahsoka being next year, as long as the pacing, as long as they know what is right, And with this whole pandemic and shit going on around the world with mass on set production, I work in production, so I know where I could say, if you know what you have ready and you're gonna shoot for me next year. That's the thing I hate with production with now with computers, that they announce the year, they announce the months, but what happened if they're not ready? That's the thing that I hope, if they're gonna announce these things, I hope you're ready. I hope that you had these deadlines because you can and you have your script ready and everything. That's my fear, because right now Star Wars right now is in a good place, and I just don't want them to fuck it up again. Yes, I don't want to. I don't want to say this in existence, but with all these type of great news we're getting, I hope they're pacing themselves right, because the other news that we'll talk about later are where they already want to do like a sequel stuff, and I'm like, hold your horses, calm down. Let's do the stuff correctly. Bring back your good Star Wars fans, and then let's do stuff later. But I'm excited overall for Ahsoka. If it comes out in May, it fits correctly, because you know what, May the 4th. If you wanna have it on that day, stuff like that. So it fits perfectly for Ahsoka and everything, for a character, and it was good, and it'd probably be good for merchandise as well. So for May,
Always
the
good
month,
for
perfect.
merchandise.
It's good for those hot toys, right, Chris?
Oh, you know it, bro. You know it.
But yeah, I'm very
We gotta
excited
get
for
sponsored by
Ahsoka,
Hot Toys.
right? Very excited
Oh my
for
God,
Ahsoka.
that would be
Like
amazing.
I've been loving every single one of these shows so far. The Disney trilogy, we won't talk about it too much, but the Disney trilogy really like let me down. Force Awakens, Chris and I were talking about this like either today or yesterday. Like the Force Awakens was like, I thought it was good. It's a fine Star Wars movie. It's a nice like palate cleanser to get us back into Star Wars, right? And
When
then
The Force Awakens came out, I was excited that Star Wars was back.
yeah, me too.
That's how I felt
I
The
went
trailers
after
got
that
me
first
hyped.
movie.
I went to theater at 7 in the morning to watch because everything was sold out.
Yeah, to listen to Han in the trailer, it's true, all of it. The Force,
Yeah.
all of it. It's all true. Like, I was very hyped for it, and then I saw it. I was like, great, we have a bigger Death Star. Wonderful. We're not really pushing the envelope here. Besides like Kylo Ren, like Kylo Ren is a huge standout for me. And then The Last Jedi, I feel like half of that movie is actually brilliant. The way that it changes the Force and makes it way cooler in some aspects, and then in the other 50% of the film doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. Like there's so many things that happens in the film that if it's removed, the film doesn't change at all. There's weird decisions made, and then
Right.
The Rise of Skywalker was just like, how do we hobble together? How do we make the fans happy? How do we just go to Reddit, find everything that everyone wants to see, and just check off a box, and it's the movie, right? Like, it's ridiculous. But these series, Mando, the first episode, the first 5 minutes, I was like, we're fucking back. He's like, I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold. And then he
So
fucking murks the guy in the door. And I'm like,
Cuts
we're
him
back.
in half.
We are back. And then again, I am way bigger on Book of Boba Fett. I think it's great. It gave me everything that I wanted. I wanted to see what Boba Fett was doing after the Sarlacc pit, and those first 3 episodes, that's all we did. We followed Boba Fett, which is all I wanted. And then
Yeah.
it became Mando 2.5, which is what I still loved. But I loved every moment that Boba Fett was on screen. I loved every moment of it. Ahsoka's going to be awesome. Now we're going to move into this next piece of news, which is the John Watts Star Wars series, a Star Wars Skeleton Crew. It's going to be starring Jude Law. It's going to be written by Chris Ford, who wrote Spider-Man Homecoming, and it's going to be set after the events of Return of the Jedi, similar to Mandalorian. So I don't know what to expect from this. Ford said that it's going to star 4 kids, but it won't be a kids show. So
I
it's going to
love
be... Yeah, so it's going to be interesting, right? It's going to be cool to know that we're following kids, but it's not going to be, like he said, a kid type series. So,
Yeah.
Chris, I'll start with you. What does that quote mean to you? Like, what does that tell you?
Kathleen Kennedy, and I know a lot of people get triggered when she's brought up, but Kathleen Kennedy said that the show is going to be like an Amblin Entertainment-esque Star Wars adventure. And after Ford saying that it's going to star 4 kids, but it's not going to be a kid's show, that immediately my mind goes to like the first season of Stranger Things, where like it feels like E.T. felt in the 70s, where like the main characters are children, but it's tackling really adult themes like ET's about like a broken family and like piecing yourself back together, and like so on Popaholics, when the news first dropped, where literally all we knew was like John Watts is directing a Star Wars TV series. I proposed like a ragtag group of children maybe steal like an ex-Empire vehicle, because in this era, the Empire is being dismantled.
Right.
So like imagine like a group of 4 children of the Empire, or sorry, children of the Rebellion, maybe get a hold of an Empire vehicle. They like take it for a joyride and get into some shit, and like Empire remnants are tracking the vehicle. I doubt the show's going to be anything like this, but like a boy can dream, right? But just based on the little information we have, I think that this show can be something very unique and different and fun for the Star Wars universe. And I know those are scary words for Star Wars fans, but I'm excited to see what John Watts does with this television show, because he's tackled some of the highest grossing movies of the last decade. Those Spider-Man movies are not easy to direct and manage. So I think he's going to do gangbusters with this.
Vash, what about you?
So 2 things. One, Chris stole my idea of reference I was gonna do. Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
I was like, James is gonna pass it to me first. Let's go. And then he passed it.
I'm
I was
sorry,
like, damn
bro.
it. And I knew Chris was gonna take the idea, but you know what? It's because we have great minds here. 2, Chris also blew my mind. Did not know E.T. came out in 1982. Because at first, in my head, I thought it came out like in 1990s around there. No. When he said that movie came out in the 70s, like, hold up, I gotta check that shit real quick. And I see that there, like, damn.
Did it come out in 1982?
Yep, in 1982.
Early 80s then. My bad.
Early, no worries. So that's 2 things. But Chris has a point, because I haven't seen Stranger Things. For fans that are hyped, season 4 came out, season 5 came out today. Good for you guys. Me having seen probably 1 episode out of the whole series.
Oh wow. Okay.
But yeah, but once I read that and saw the whole description of what is the 4 kids but not for kids, I felt it clicked to me. Stranger Things or the show, the Avatar: Last Airbender. For those that don't know, those are literally like 3 kids throughout the whole series, but it has very dark themes with the whole type of Fire Lord, killing people and everything, like slavery. There's a lot of things in those shows that's dark theme. Secondly, what I'm hype about this, like Chris said, a lot of people, Star Wars fans, want to stay with the same characters, Obi-Wan, Skywalker, and me. We literally in every intro of the shows, literally in a long, far, far galaxy far away, right? Why are we doing the same characters? I'm happy that it literally has new characters type of realm where we're exploring the Outer Rims or wherever we are. I'm just happy that we're getting new characters within the world that's so vast of Star Wars. That's what gets me excited, because I enjoy my characters, Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, Palpatine. I enjoy my character because I grew up with them. I read the comics, cartoons, Rebels, Clone Wars. But to actually get outer characters that we don't know, and maybe you can actually do new characters that we like to get to know of, comic book runs of, this is good thing. This is good source material, and I hope John wants the best of luck, because good luck to you, and hopefully you don't get some toxic fan base that's gonna come and attack you. My best of luck for you, my man.
Dude, when it comes to Star Wars, you'll
It'll
get
always
hate
be
for
there.
anything, dude. You'll get hate for
I know.
anything. I can't wait to talk about it in Obi-Wan, but the actress that plays third sister, I actually saw a report that she was warned by the studio to just be
She
aware
was.
that you might be racially attacked.
How terrible is that?
It's absolutely fucking ridiculous, and I think she's great. What was it? Moses Ingram. I thought she was great in the first 2 episodes, but much like what you were saying, Vash, just to piggyback off of what you were saying, I am much more interested in everything else going on in the universe other than the Skywalkers, the Kenobis, and lightsabers. There's so much to Star Wars, and I'll transition into this. This is why I am beyond excited for Andor. Like, I love Rogue One so much. Rogue One might be my favorite or my second favorite Star Wars movie, and it's simply because I got to watch people who aren't necessarily soldiers, but people who stood up and decided this was wrong and we're going to fight for freedom, and literally put their lives on the line in order to get those Death Star plans, in order for us to even have the original trilogy. Without that team, without Rogue One, we have nothing. The Empire wins. So for me, Rogue One means a lot to me, like a lot. And And Cassian Andor, what a fucking character. And I can't wait for Andor. So that's going to be released on August 31st. We already got the announcement that season 1 is going to be 12 episodes long and is going to take place 5 years before the events of Rogue One. And then we also got another announcement that they're going to be working on 12 new episodes for a season 2, and then once that season is done, it will be a direct lead-in to Rogue One. I think this is absolutely brilliant. The trailer, I thought this was a great tease because, again, exactly what I just said, normal people that just decided enough is enough. This is fucking wrong. And they stood up and did something about it. So that means a lot to me. So I can't wait for Andor. I didn't even know that Stellan Skarsgård was in this till I saw him in the trailer.
Yeah, I was
like,
surprised
oh,
too.
shit. Yeah, and I love his voice. He has such a great voice. He's such a great character actor in general.
He does.
But I'm beyond excited for Andor. I know I'm probably like in the minority, but Vash, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on Andor?
All right, guys, don't hate me. I still haven't seen Rogue One yet. And yes, I've told James about
Wow.
this for the past 2-3 years that we have spoken about Rogue One, and so I haven't had or made the time to see it yet. And I know I should.
I think you would really dig it.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
I know I would. I just haven't made the time. But if anything, it's Star Wars Celebration event. I'll make the time to see it tomorrow, this weekend overall, just to actually watch it and everything.
It is one of the most visually stunning Star Wars things,
Yes.
period.
I keep
my
hearing about
opinion.
the Darth Vader scene that happens in. I still don't know how
Dude,
it looks, what happens.
There's a scene
Don't
with
spoil
the
yourself.
Death Star. When they use the Death Star for the first time, it is one of the most visually stunning things I've ever seen.
I know once I watch it, I have to call James or text him like, yo, I just saw it, and just have a whole conversation about it. If anything, guys, we could do a random review about Rogue One just in the
Like,
future event.
It's
That'd be
it's a
awesome.
mild spoiler, but I'm getting so hyped just thinking about it. The fucking Death Star eclipses the sun and then destroys the planet. It is so horrifying yet gorgeous at the same time.
Does
oh
it
my God.
destroy the planet or blow up a
Oh,
huge
no.
portion of it?
It does blow up a huge portion of it.
It
'cause
blows
was
up a
just
city,
test.
doesn't it?
Yes, it was just a test. Thank you for
Yeah,
correcting
yeah,
me.
Okay. But overall, I'm excited. I'm excited for Endor, and I'm happy for Lucasfilm because I think they originally said that they're going to do 4 or 5 seasons for Endor, but have a much shorter count for each season. I think it was 6 or 5 episodes for each. But I guess they reworked around the script and made 2 seasons and worked 12 episodes. For those that don't know either, that this is the highest count for a Star Wars show. Mando was 8 or 9 episodes, if I remember correctly.
8.
Book of Boba Fett was 6, or I believe 5 was it? Or
It was 6.
6.
6. And also our boy Kenobi is gonna be 6 episodes. So to actually see Andor 12 episodes, it seems like they actually know the script and actually have the pacing for what's gonna happen. And to know that they already have the idea of the finale of season 2 to lead up to Rogue One, it gets me very happy for that, excited. I'm curious about this series as well, if we're gonna see maybe Donnie Yen in the show as well, since I know that he was inside Rogue One, so that'd be pretty dope too if we see him like in the end of season 1 or in part of season 2. I'm just speaking as the guy who is a fan of Donnie Yen but haven't seen Rogue One yet. So, but overall, I'm still excited for it. Chris?
You guys know that I'm probably the coolest of the 3 of us on Rogue One. I still really like that movie. I think it's one of the best Star Wars movies to come out of the Disney era of Star Wars. This is going to sound so ridiculous. The things that get me mostly excited for Andor are like seeing Mon Mothma in the trailer,
Yeah.
or seeing a brief glimpse of clone troopers. Like that has to be a flashback, I'm assuming. But I actually think I'm more excited for season 2 of Andor because Alan Tudyk has already signed on to play K2SO.
Yes, let's go.
So I'm really excited to see that relationship kind of begin and flourish because I really love the dynamic between the 2 of them in Rogue One.
Yeah.
K2SO is probably my favorite character. I like the robot from Rogue One. That sounds ridiculous, but yeah, I think he's one of the best parts of that movie. And his death definitely hit me the heart. Sorry, I just remembered Vash. There's a memorable moment.
So Chris was Vash the Vash. Wow.
I did.
That's
They all die, Vash. We all know going into the movie.
I know. Trust me, I knew that part. But I was like, okay, so I gotta know when when K2SO dies. Where's it? He's dead here. I know, I'm
Anyway,
joking.
I felt that was the moment that I felt the worst when watching Rogue One when K2SO died. But
yeah, it's all rough.
so yeah, I'm excited for season 2 of Andor. But being a Star Wars fan, I am excited to just kind of exist in the world. So I'm really interested to see what Andor does in terms of lore and how it expands on it, especially during this era of the Star Wars mythos.
Yeah, man. Very, very excited for Andor. Next piece of news. So today we got an official announcement for Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which will be the sequel to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is a game that I absolutely love. I love Cal Kestis. He's actually right behind Darkseid, right up there. I love Cal Kestis. That also has one of my favorite droids. Love that game. Definitely my favorite Star Wars game ever. It's so cool to play an open world game. You get on the ship and you just go to whatever planet that you want. I mean, there's 4 planets that you can choose from, but I decide which planet I want to go to. I
That's
decide how much of the mission that I want to do. I don't have to complete the whole thing, or I can spend all the time there and then move on when I want. Because I'm the type of guy, like, my favorite games are open world games. I don't like just campaigns where I just play this static thing. I like existing in a world. And when I played Cyberpunk the first time, I put 100 hours in before I even got halfway through the main gameplay, because I just love exploring. So
did you play after all the patches or when it was first released?
I played it 1 year after the release.
Okay, I was gonna say I can't believe you played it for 100 hours. That's amazing.
I still haven't played the game, but I'm excited overall because I know that me and Chris were talking because Chris just bought the game recently.
Mm-hmm. I haven't played it either.
I'm gonna probably buy this weekend, but I've heard great things about it. My current favorite Star Wars game is Force Unleashed back in PS2, PS3, I believe.
PS3. That game's a ton of fun.
It's a ton of fun. I'm so mad I never finished it.
Lot, though.
Yep, exactly. Because I got stuck in a mission. I forgot what mission was it, but I was stuck on some mission and I never got to it. But maybe I hope Disney wants to re-release it if they want to remaster it.
They just re-released it for the Switch, but in some weird choice, they remastered the Wii version and not the one for PS3 or Xbox. Like, it makes no sense to me. I was like all ready to buy it, and then I watched some reviews, and they were like, "Yeah, this is the Wii version of Force Unleashed," which was different.
So they chose not to get the higher quality version or get the Steam version that you can literally just play on your PC, but you chose to do the Switch. Yeah. I guess it's handheld. I guess
it makes sense, I guess, considering that it's still Nintendo. So maybe they weren't able to remaster.
Or they probably licensing or something.
The PlayStation version. But
overall, I'm excited for this game. The trailer looks really nice, and what the trailer shows, it looks like is in the same timeline as Kenobi timeline, the current show airing. From what I saw from people's comments and from what the article said, that it's like the same timeline as Kenobi as a show going on right now. So that is pretty interesting too.
Yeah, exactly where, not sure, but definitely around the same time frame. That's where like Fallen Order took place.
Within that like 20-year gap.
Yeah.
Between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope.
So I will warn you guys, be very careful with the difficulty. Second Sister is not easy to beat. Second Sister is a fucking animal. Prepared.
So Christian Cady, my co-host on Popaholics, played the whole game, and he's desperately been trying to get me to play it. That's why I bought it when it was on sale. But he described it as like Star Wars Dark Souls light, where like the mechanics of the game are kind of difficult. Like you have to master the mechanics of the game to be able to defeat bosses, and it's always like changing up the strategies you need to use to defeat them. So
I can't do Dark Souls. I've tried it, but I don't like to defend. I like just to attack. So it's very hard Dark Souls because Dark Souls, like, the games you have to, defend, attack, know how to strategize.
Parrying is very important.
I was going to say, James would know better than me, but I've heard that like you have to bide your time and like know exactly when to attack
which is good though,
Fallen Order.
You have to be a Jedi. You have to have patience, because if you don't, you will die.
Yeah, puts you in the world. I
guess my dad liked that game then. Definitely coming.
Villains should do a Vash plays Fallen Order stream.
Oh God, yes.
You know what? I don't mind doing that because it would be weird to play the Star Wars game on the Enemy Lady channel, but I don't mind playing it on the Care for Spoilers channel on Twitch because that'd be fun.
Either one. It'll be fun to watch you play because the
And just
game's
get
a lot of fun.
obliterated
to play.
over and over and over.
Just
again.
know that if I die, like, I'll be screaming in Spanish and cursing a lot in Spanish. So just know that I hope you understand my cursing in Spanish. If not, just
And
be
I'm so
entertained.
excited.
What'll be cool for you guys is since you've seen Obi-Wan, you'll see a lot of the things that Obi-Wan went through in Cal Kestis because he's also working a nothing dangerous job, and
Right.
then he's also trying to hide who he really is while there's people that need help, you know. So it's a real internal struggle. But you guys will love the game whenever you do play it. So next piece of news, Star Wars The Acolyte will take place 100 years before the events of The Phantom Menace is going to take place in the High Republic era, the height of the Jedi. So I can't wait to see that. I'm going to pull up an image right here. Leslie Headland will write and showrun the show. Amandla Stenberg will play one of the leads in the show. I have only seen her from the Hunger Games. That's the only thing that I've seen her in. But I mean, I'm excited to see her in the show. I'm very excited for a High Republic era show. I'm glad.
Yeah, we
that
haven't
it's
gotten
not...
anything
Yeah.
in the High Republic yet. It's all been books and comic books.
Yeah. So, Chris, I'll start with you. Like, how excited are you for The Acolyte?
It's going to be an interesting period to observe within the Star Wars mythology. You know, like you said, the Jedi Order is kind of at its height. They have yet to become like police officers of the galaxy. You know, this like religious police officers, basically. So I'm excited. Like James said, we don't know a ton about the show. We know who the lead's going to be. We know who is writing it and who's going to be the showrunner. But other than that, there aren't a lot of details. In terms of the Acolyte, I'm pretty sure it's referring to like a Sith acolyte. So we might get to see like how the Sith kind of worm their way back into the era and become a threat for the Jedi. So it'll be interesting, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it'll be so removed from anything that we've seen. It's literally a century before the first story in the Star Wars canon of movies.
The only character that has appeared in the High Republic era is Yoda.
Right, yeah.
He's the only one old enough. So
Yeah, so
cool.
I'm very excited to see what they do, even though that's kind of contrary to what I said before of getting away from lightsabers, but to go a century before...
More lightsabers.
More lightsabers.
You know what? Put it 100 more lightsabers, 1,000 more.
I want every person to carry a lightsaber.
And I want all the colors, all the rainbow. I want more purple lightsabers. Nah, but in all honesty, what gets me excited about this is that, like James and Chris brought up, is that we're getting away from the characters that we currently know out of the prequels, the originals, the sequels, and everything, that we're going back to 100 years. Would I like Old Republic, High Republic more from, go more 1,000 years of those old games? Yes, I'd rather get that. But if we're getting a bit of this, it's something. It's somewhere. And that gets me excited. But also to counter Chris' point about the Acolyte, I also thought maybe we could get into the white sabers, because we also know that they were also the tribe that was very hidden. So maybe we could see if, because we know that those people that were the white sabers, they were Sith before, but they're turned into neutral and everything. So maybe we could see a bit of that back in the past. That also be pretty interesting from what we saw back in Rebels. I don't remember his name right now, but that would be really fascinating to see in the live action.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Yeah, can't wait for that. Last piece of Star Wars news that we're going to cover this week is that Kathleen Kennedy has confirmed that the next Star Wars movie that we see will be the film made by Taika Waititi. I am
God knows what that's going to look like.
Right. Like, I have no idea. We don't know when it's set. I don't remember hearing anything about, like, what era or anything like that.
I don't think they've said.
Right. Yeah, but anything Taika touches, I'm ready. The episode he directed in Mando was fucking awesome. It was brutal. It was also hilarious.
It was
Taika
hilarious.
is just an awesome director, and I can't wait to see what he does with this. Chris, starting with you, like, how excited are you for Taika to be directing a Star Wars movie?
It's going to be, like you said, so interesting to see what he does with the franchise. I don't think it's going to be connected to anything, which is great. So you're not going to have these people outraged because, like, Rian Johnson has ruined the Star Wars saga. Like, Taika just gets to do.
He's getting a trilogy.
I can believe it because from everything that I heard prior to The Last Jedi coming out, he and Lucasfilm had a phenomenal relationship, and it was a phenomenal working environment. So despite how people received that movie, in terms of business, it all went very well. But they just could not expect how fans were going to react to it.
Fair.
But back to Taika directing Star Wars. Like you said, the season finale of the first season of Mando is really fun. You know, he has the scout troopers like shooting the shit and missing their targets. Like, it's just I don't think he should go as far as Ragnarok or his other films.
Right.
That's me.
Because in recent years there has been kind of this like MCU type of humor seeping into Star Wars, where they almost reference things that are outside of the Star Wars universe that we don't really hear a lot. You know, like for instance, oh boy, here we go. In The Last Jedi, Poe Dameron like prank calling Hux at the beginning of the movie. That's something that seems like kind of out of character in terms of humor for Star Wars, in my opinion.
I thought it was hilarious though.
It was hilarious, but it does kind of like, I don't know, it kind of took me out of the movie a little bit.
Right.
So I don't think he should go full force Ragnarok, but I am excited to see what he does. I really like Taika Waititi as a director. I enjoy all of his films. He has an incredibly dry sense of humor. I'm all about it. So we know very little, but whatever he comes out with, I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm also excited for his Blackbeard project.
The Our Flag Spells Death, is that what it's called?
I can't remember what it is.
It's already out. It's on HBO Max. I've seen the first 2 episodes.
Oh shit.
It's hilarious.
Okay,
it's very
great.
Funny.
I'll have to go check it out. But Vash, what are your thoughts on Taika directing a Star Wars movie and it being the next one?
My honest opinion, not so excited. Not saying that he's not a bad director, but like Chris brought up on Thor Ragnarok and everything, like he has a sense of humor that bleeds to some people, that bleeds to others, that you like it or not. I like Thor Ragnarok. It's an entertaining film. Do I like what he did with Thor? No. Do I like what he did with Hulk, making them more comedic and stuff? No. But that's because I feel like that's naturally the character from what we have known them to be from comics and from cartoons of what we have known to be their interpretation. But if Taika's gonna use new characters from the Star Wars lore and a character that we know, and he could just make their own spin and make their own way how he wants to, then no problem. But if it's something more of continuity of the Skywalkers or the Kenobi stuff, or with maybe with Ezra, or with any character that we know, if he makes them or changes them, I'm gonna feel a bit salty about that. So, but it depends what he does with it. Like, I'm excited. He's a good director. I've been entertained by his films, but when it comes to his type of choices, I'm a bit more hesitant. So overall, like I said, I am excited. Just hope to see he choose the right project and that Kathleen Kennedy could actually steer him to the right direction of what she chooses and he chooses that they could both agree on.
I hope James is shaking his head, and I'm just trying to be an optimist here. I hope that Kathleen Kennedy has learned her lesson from past experiences. Sometimes she publicly states definitely the wrong lesson, which happened really recently. But I'm hoping that they're just like, here, go make something so far flung from what we've already gotten in terms of Star Wars lore. Like, just, it's in the Star Wars universe. Do whatever you want. Just tell a fun story. I think that'd be the best route for them to take.
Yeah, I've said this before. I think Kathleen Kennedy is hands down one of the best producers ever.
Absolutely.
Like, there is no disputing her resume, but she has made a lot of stupid decisions when it comes to Star Wars. I think with someone at her level, it is inexcusable to get 80% into a movie and then realize that the directors aren't the right fit. I think that is absolutely ridiculous. Like you were alluding to, Chris, some comments that she made. It's like, oh, well, we realized that Solo didn't work because people didn't want to see someone else play Han Solo. It's like, no, Kathleen.
We're watching Ewan McGregor play an Alec Guinness character right now. So
thank you. Like, Donald Glover was great as Lando. Like, we've had other people like come in. It's fine. The problem was no one asked for that movie, and it just wasn't that interesting. If
It also was the first movie right after The Last Jedi.
right, yeah. So that didn't help at all.
And some people, I guarantee you, were like just straight up boycotting Star Wars, regardless of
At the time,
of
yes, they
what
were,
they
yeah.
thought the movie was going to be. So
Yeah, but that's a entirely different podcast because we can
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about that forever. But I think it's definitely time to get into the Obi-Wan Kenobi premiere. I was so happy when they announced that they were going to release it a couple hours early. It was available at like 9 p.m. CST. At my time, so I got to watch the first 2 episodes. Chris and I were messaging back and forth in the Twitter chat when we were watching it. But these first 2 episodes are absolutely fucking incredible. John Williams, New Han's Obi-Wan Kenobi score is so good. Natalie Holt, who did the score for Loki. The score for this show is incredible.
great.
The score that played over Vader's scene at the end of episode 2, incredible. Over Obi-Wan in a couple scenes, incredible, and we'll get into that. But let's get into episode 1. And in episode 1, this is where we're kind of just catching up with Obi-Wan, right? This is where it's like this, we finally catch up with Obi-Wan, and the episode starts off with a flashback. We get right back to Order 66 during Revenge of the Sith, and we get to see a really cool like glimpse into this Jedi fighting off some clones while trying to protect some kids. I thought this was a great way to open up the series. I thought it was a great opening to this episode, and it was a great battle. I love the way that she fought too. Like, she was just very, very acrobatic and very doing a lot of different movements, protecting the kids while reflecting blasts from these guns from these clone troopers. I thought that was a great opening, and it was really sad to watch her be gunned down, and watch the other Jedis be gunned down, and these kids are left to fend for themselves, and some of these kids are going to end up becoming Inquisitors. And Chris and I were talking behind the scenes, do we think the little black girl from the beginning is Third Sister, is Reva? And I think it is, and Chris agreed with me. So Vash, before we move on, like, I'll toss it to you. Do you think that was Reva in the beginning?
One, I do want to say I'm happy that Lucasfilm give us that recap of the whole type of prequel.
Crazy was that?
Because I did not expect that. I did not expect that, and I'm happy they did, because I did not make the time to watch the prequels. So for them to give me that quick 2 minutes type of recap of what happened with Luke and everything, Padme, I was like, oh, thank you. You guys should refresh my whole memory. I appreciate you. And then to jump into Order 66, and yes, I think that is Reva from her, because the hairstyle, the voice sounded a bit familiar, so maybe it could be her. So that's my guess. Overall, it's just really good opening sequence to actually see Order 66 happen. And I do agree with James. Girl was giving the work, but at the same time, you was being outnumbered. You was not gonna sound like I appreciate that you kept protecting the kids, and I'm glad that these kids woke up and realized, like, shit, we gotta run. We cannot really stay here. So I'm very happy about that too.
Chris?
Yeah, I really like the opening of the show. We've seen this moment in Star Wars a couple of different times now, and you know, I've been hard on the prequels since they were released in theaters, but like over the last decade, I've really come around on them, and I genuinely enjoy this time period in Star Wars, and seeing, you know, the clones invade the Jedi Temple and other clones other Jedi besides like Anakin slaughtering all those younglings and all that stuff, trying to defend themselves. We've seen this moment from Grogu's perspective,
right?
Which was really cool. So just getting to see Order 66 from so many varied positions as it was taking place over the galaxy is always really interesting, and always adds more context to what was happening at this moment in time in Star Wars. Getting back to that recap, though, like I said, I've come around on the prequel trilogy. It's shocking how epic the prequel trilogy can seem when it's consolidated to like a 2.5 minute recap. I was like, wow, they gave us all the information we need to know. We know the character dynamics. Like, this is amazing. And it was fun just kind of revisiting some of those moments from the prequels in that recap. So that was something that I absolutely did not expect Lucasfilm to do.
Yeah.
But I think it was hugely beneficial for people that either have never seen the prequels or have it's been a long time since they've watched them, because it fully puts you in the mindset of where Obi-Wan is at the beginning of the show.
Definitely. And I love what you brought up about the prequels, because it has grown on me as well over the years. Revenge of the Sith is probably my fourth favorite Star Wars movie, period. The only movie that I can't get with is Attack of the Clones. It doesn't matter how many years
Makes
pass,
sense.
it just doesn't work for me. I do like some aspects of what Hayden brings to the character. In that movie specifically, I think any detriment is just, unfortunately, George Lucas's like lack of ability
Writing
to direct
style.
better, and his writing style, right? And his directing style, better, just louder and
Faster,
or slow,
louder, better.
faster,
Yeah.
louder. So it's just like, that's not really great direction, and an actor can only do so much with that. And then on top of that, everything's blue screen and green screen. You're not really working with a lot. So, I tend not to give the actors too much shit, but there's just so much in Attack of the Clones that just doesn't work for me. But the recap was amazing. Like you said, it's pretty epic to see it all mashed together, especially leading up to, the end. You were my brother, Anakin. You were supposed to bring
Right.
balance to the Force. Like,
I can imagine that for people that have never seen the prequels, or like I said, haven't seen them in a long time, seeing them distilled in this way, they're probably going to go back and watch the prequels on Disney Plus, and then they're going to be like, they're either going to love it, which is entirely possible, or they're going to be like, I think I preferred the 2.5-minute recap.
like I used to hate Phantom Menace. I love that movie. I think it's
I
a
enjoy
really
it.
good movie. Like,
It's
it
a great
has
guilty pleasure.
issues. It's not perfect. Jar Jar's not great, but it's like, it is what it is. And when you look at everything else around him, and you ignore the other racist alien
Right.
characters in it, it's a pretty brilliant movie from a broad perspective. Like, the beat by beat execution may not be great, but when you look at it from a bigger perspective, it works, man. And that's something you can say about the entire prequel trilogy. It just does so
cohesive.
much right. It just does.
And
so much.
it's strange how that word cohesion, after seeing the sequel trilogy, has really made the prequel trilogy look great by comparison.
Which is crazy.
And plus, to add to what James said, is that it's just really crazy to really think of how the time flies, of how our boy Anakin Skywalker said he hates sand, and in the most recent interview they asked him, do you know how many people have made that meme of a hate sand? It's like they really made a point to point out the actor, what's his name again?
Hayden Christensen.
Yes, thank you, Hayden Christensen, to actually ask him, do you know your fandom actually makes that as a joke and everything? And he actually said, oh yeah, I know about that. Stuff happened back then and everything. But like, it's just very funny how he's so applauded by it now. Before these actors used to be shy away from knowing about Star Wars. Now they have embraced it, and which I'm very proud for the fandom that has embraced these actors for it as well. And to also see Qui-Gon in the recap too was really dope. I was like, oh, Qui-Gon, I forgot about you. You was only there for such a short time, but still, it was really dope to see you.
Yeah, and
I have a
think
feeling
we'll see him again.
He's gonna make
I
an
know.
appearance.
I know. That's what. Once I saw that, and once he kept calling, Master, I need to talk to you. I need your advice. I'm like, are we about to see our boy Qui-Gon?
I think the
promise you.
final episode ends with him talking to Qui-Gon's Force Ghost.
Because Obi-Wan's going on this journey over the course of this series. He's, as we see in this first episode, he's completely detached from the Force.
Yep.
He is so broken that, and just the fact that he can't use the Force in public has made it so he's just incredibly detached. So even when he's trying to train and call out to Qui-Gon and manifest him, or have him manifest in front of him,
Right.
I guarantee that by the end of this series, so he'll be reconnected with the Force, having gone on this adventure, and he will be able to talk to Qui-Gon Jinn by the end of the show. Whether we see Liam Neeson or not, whether it's just like a voice or we actually see him, I think we're going to see him.
I hope we see him. I hope
I
we see
really
Liam
do
Neeson.
think we're going to see him.
But
But I'm excited for that moment.
Because, I mean, he's a huge Star Wars nerd. He signed
Yes.
on for Phantom Menace without even reading the script. He was like, oh, yeah, me.
already he did. I did not know
Yeah,
that.
he didn't even
No.
read the script. He was just like, oh, George Lucas? Sign me
Sure.
up.
That's amazing. But also, like, not to go for a tangent, like, part still of the whole episode one. I saw on Twitter a comment about episode 1 that how is it our boy Obi-Wan Kenobi is still traumatized of him killing Skywalker. You know, his mind, he felt like he killed him, and I saw that comment, and I'm like, people don't understand. Like that was his boy that he was told to train from his master. That was a
Right.
person that he was his apprentice.
Do you think
And
you'd be able to let go of the
Thank
trauma
you.
of murdering your brother after a
Like-
decade?
and you and like
That makes
and
no
you
sense.
have
I don't think that's a
nightmares.
trauma
Like,
that ever disappears.
like that's a PTSD for you that you can never let go, and for you to know that he's alive. But you know that's episode 2. But for you to think that you killed him, have nightmares, and for 10 years the nightmares still going, those things don't go. Like you can ask any type of army, navy type of any type of veteran, nightmares don't go away. So for a lot of people to say that on the timeline, it's like you was told by your master Qui-Gon to train him, to keep him, and then you go years of training together, go to battle in Clone Wars, the cartoon. You see the relationship that they have grown, the trust they have in each other. When I saw that recap, it gave me goosebumps when Obi jumped and told Anakin, "Did you take any longer?" Just that small little scene of recap gave me goosebumps because it shows that beautiful relationship of brothers they have, and to know that Obi still has nightmares. I like, yo, bro, I feel you. Like, yeah,
That makes perfect sense.
I haven't killed anybody, but I can understand emotionally in the head of how he could be feeling. So it's
Right.
like, damn, I understand what you're going through. So it's like, I don't understand people's point of view. But you know, like Chris and James have said, those are Star Wars fans. They're a whole different side. But for people not understanding that that is Obi-Wan's character, that's why he has let go of the Force, and that's why it's hard for him to get back to it, for because he feels the Force was his fault. Like, you know, him training his apprentice Anakin and everything. So
I
sorry,
mean,
of the whole tangent.
it just no longer serves him, right? Like,
Yeah.
he had to kill his well, he thinks he's killed his brother. The
Yeah.
Jedi Order fell. He's in exile,
Mhm.
right? He went from being someone of high status in the Jedi Order to someone working this nothing job, like,
He's a ghost.
yeah,
basically.
just cutting meat out of what I thought was like a giant like sand stingray. I was like, what the
Yeah,
fuck
me
is this
too.
thing? You know what I
thought that
mean?
was one.
So it's just like he's just absolutely broken, like Chris was saying, and that's why he's detached from the Force. Like, so let's just get into the character breakdowns itself, because we're already talking a lot about Obi-Wan. So this is pretty much how I want to cover both episodes. I think we can cover pretty much all ground, just breaking down the perspective of each character here. So getting back into just catching up with Obi-Wan, we're talking about seeing him working at this place on this like I said, this giant like sand stingray, and he takes this like little piece of fish that I guess is like his only dinner, you know, that he gets to
He
take
feeds
home
it
every
to
day.
his
about to say,
Eopie.
that's
Oh, yeah, that's
He
right.
feeds
Yeah,
it to
that's
his
right.
Eopie.
Yeah, that's right. So it's like he's doing this nothing job, and then like we have scenes where you see him like talking to Bail Organa, where he's like, "I'm not the man that you used to know," and this is where Ewan McGregor is such a fantastic actor. His face acting is so
It's
good
really
because you can
good.
see that he wants to help, but he feels like he doesn't have it in him. He feels like he would fail because he failed Anakin. He feels like he failed the galaxy by not being able to do anything. That was the point of the Jedi Order, to be a symbol of hope for the galaxy, and he just feels like a failure. So
Yeah.
if he takes this on, what if he fails again? I don't think that he can
And he
mentally
even asks
take
that,
that.
question to
Right.
Bale. He's like, "What if I can't save her?"
Yeah, I don't think he can take that again. And then another one of my favorite scenes with Obi-Wan is him just sitting down watching Luke, and like watching Luke like on the side of the like the sand igloo thing, like he's driving a speeder. That's what Anakin did, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and he's just
It looks
thinking
like
about
it's almost like he's mimicking the like the pod racer
right, yeah.
movements.
Yeah, so it's just Obi-Wan was struggling in this episode, and we already talked about the nightmare sequence where he wakes up from that nightmare calling out to Qui-Gon, but he can't reach out to him because of how broken and how separated he is from the Force. So this instantly lets us know the arc that Obi-Wan has to get to by the end of, well, what we hope, you know, by the end of these 6 episodes. So Chris, tossing it back to you, what, if we didn't already talk about, what are some other favorite moments that you had from like Obi-Wan's like characterization in this episode?
The conversation with Owen You know,
Ooh,
him throwing down the toy that he brought to Luke overnight, and just being like, we don't want any part of you. You know, that whole conversation, Obi-Wan asking if Luke is okay, and then Owen retorting with like, you don't care if he's okay, you only care if he's showing. And then
Right.
they have this back and forth where Obi-Wan is saying like, well, the boy has to be trained, and then Owen's like you trained his father. And then it's just kind of like rubbing salt in the wound for Obi-Wan here, because he's like, Anakin's dead, let Luke be a farm boy, just like get on with your life. And it seems like there are multiple people, you know, Bail Organa included, tell him to like, look, we failed, move on, and like let's pick ourselves back up and do something about it, you know. But I can kind of empathize with Obi-Wan here, because and this gets back to what you were saying, James, about how great Ewan McGregor is at like face acting without having to say anything, because there are multiple moments over the course of this episode, and especially in episode 2, where you can sense Obi-Wan's anxiety, and he's pushing himself forward, but you know he's not totally comfortable with what he's doing, and he doesn't have a lot of faith in himself. And after the pandemic, you know, I work from home, having to spend so much time inside. I just remember the first time going back out into the world, there's like extreme pressure and extreme anxiety in doing something that was so simple as like going to the grocery store in 2019, you know? So I think a lot of people can look at what Obi-Wan's going through, and obviously not all of us fought in a war and like failed our brother and our government and all that shit. But I think in terms of anxiety, at least, we can relate to how he's feeling. You know, he's using Luke as a crutch in this episode. He's been put on this mission to protect this boy, and that keeps him here on Tatooine. It keeps him here so he doesn't have to face anything else that's going on with the Empire taking over the rest of the galaxy, or Vader, as Vash is pointing out right now. So I think how Ewan McGregor is acting and that level of anxiety that he's presenting is exceptionally relatable, and he's doing just an amazing job portraying that.
so to put that cherry on top to what Chris just said, so for those that James brought up earlier, that with the Jedi, it's like a religion. So with Obi-Wan, he has lost his religion since
Right.
he has let it go, because he felt like he has failed because of what happened to Skywalker, Anakin. But now, like Chris just said, that he has that clutch. He still has that small silver, the small thread of faith because of Anakin's son. And he felt like if he could train the boy, if he could feel like he could redeem himself, maybe put some nice type of Jedi training. Maybe he didn't really fail his father. Maybe he did fail him, but maybe he could probably forgive himself in some capacity. That's why he still checks up with him. That's why he still tries to see if he could start his training, because he feels such a failure from his own religion that he cannot even use the Force no more. He can't even call his own master. And now that he can't even look for the boy, ask for the boy, because his fucking damn uncle wants to be hard-headed because, you know, having to keep a farmer, he feels like, yo, I don't even know who I am no more without my religion. He feels so lost. He literally has a daily 9 to 5 job. Like, he literally got called to save his twin sister. He literally said, nah, dub, I got my 9 to 5 job the next day. I'm gonna go back to work to that. I was laughing, like, he literally didn't say that, but he literally went to work the next day and literally just did that. So it's just
Because he's so
that
afraid.
he's so
to
afraid.
venture outward.
He's so afraid to go back to who he wasn't, and it's been 10 years. So for you to ask somebody to go back to war in some retrospect, or for him to have faith in himself where he don't have that no more, like for example, Padme with the senator, she said let's move on, but they're speaking from a perspective where they don't have the religion aspect like Obi, where he actually he lost the faith. He has no faith in his heart, where nobody else around him is a Jedi, where they could entrust that faith within each other. They were like a cult. But without that cult no more, you can't really do shit about it. So when you have everyone telling you stay away, move on, you feel like you're in a rock, you're in a still place. So it's very hard for you to actually move forward if nobody can actually push that rock.
Yeah, and I love that this is the arc that we're going with Obi-Wan. I love that he's struggling. He's struggling with everything, and we're gonna get into it a lot more when we get into episode 2. But it's like he's still not ready, to jump back into it. But he did it because he felt the calling and he wanted to help Leia. But so let's transition to Owen. We were already talking about Uncle Owen. Like, how do we feel about Uncle Owen? Like, we know that he's just trying to keep Luke safe. Like he gives that jab to Obi-Wan, like, yo, like, you're just waiting for the boy to see if he's showing, like you mentioned, Chris, right? Like, do you actually care about him? Like, and if you did, maybe you should just leave him alone, because training him up in the Force, we don't know what could happen to him. People, Inquisitors could come after him. Your
Right.
training
Jedi are
could
being
turn him
hunted
into
at this point.
Vader. Yeah. So it's like he's trying to do the best for Luke, but maybe it's not the best. So, Vash, starting with you, like, how do you feel about Owen's decision to keep Obi-Wan out of Luke's life and to not have him train in the Force?
So I'm not a father yet, but I have nieces and nephews. I am a to some extent, I'm an uncle or a cousin that's much older, and I have younger cousins. So for in that retrospect, I understand when people are trying to do better for others, but at the end of the day, Owen is the parent guardian, and for him to see and know what happened to said his father, Anakin, went to the dark side. And for him not knowing that he's literally the guy that controls the world right now because of Darth Vader, Palpatine, all that, but just knowing that he got killed because of the Force. So right now you're blaming technically the religion, you're blaming the Force of why his father had to be dead, and now you don't want the same thing to be repeated. So what you believe? Just have a simple life. Just go to your 9 to 5 job, be a farmer, and just live your life simple. So I get where Owens is coming from. You just being a good parental type of guardian. So I get it. I'm not blaming him. He's not wrong. But also, I get why he didn't tattletale about where's Obi-Wan when they came and asking, hey, yo, I'll kill this man family right now if you don't tell me where this man is. He didn't really give a F about Obi. He just cared about his family the most, because that's what he was there for. Because she literally pointed out, if you don't tell me Obi-Wan, I'll kill you and your family. If he just said I'll kill you and Obi, then he would like, maybe things would have been different within that answer. But family, that's anybody will protect that. So I get where Owens is coming from. So I don't think he's wrong. That's his mind state, and to him as a parent, a lot of people would understand.
I think he's doing what he thinks is the
Yeah.
best. He's doing the
Right.
best that he can. Keeping Luke in the shadows is the best. He thinks that that's the best thing for him, because if he's not exposed, then, because I mean, the Inquisitors would either try to turn him or kill him. You know what I mean? So he's trying to do the best that he can. But Chris, I'll toss it to you. Like, how do you feel about Owen in this situation? And then we can definitely talk about his conversation with Third Sister.
No, I agree with both of you. I think his actions are entirely justified as Luke's guardian. Obi-Wan handed Luke over to Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen to be raised. Therefore, they are responsible for his upbringing. So, from Owen's perspective, he had a reckless stepbrother, stepbrother, not half brother, right? Stepbrother.
Mhm.
Reckless stepbrother in Anakin, who went out, was a member of the Jedi Order, fought in a war. Like, all these negative things surrounded his stepbrother, and he got himself killed from his perspective, And Obi-Wan was a huge contributor to that because he fought alongside him. So, like, while I'm sure they are grateful that Obi-Wan was able to bring their nephew back to them, after that, I probably also wouldn't want anything to do with this, like, crazy wizard wandering around in the desert. Like, stop watching my nephew, please. I know you're here to protect him.
Your stalking is awkward. I feel those creepy eyes, sir.
Bringing him toys
Do
in
not
the
let
night.
him know that you are here. Stop bringing him presents, please. But I agree with both Obi-Wan and with Owen in this
Agreed.
situation.
So is Obi-Wan the unofficial godfather, technically, of Luke?
I mean, I mean, Christianity doesn't exist in the Star Wars universe, so like the concept of a godfather doesn't really exist. But I suppose
That's what I said.
Suppose you could say that.
Unofficial, the unofficial godfather. But yeah, James.
Definitely mentor.
Yeah. So let's transition a little bit. Let's talk about Leia. Let's talk about the Organas, and let's talk about Alderaan since Merc brought it up. It was great to see Alderaan in the state that it's in currently. It's
Oh yeah,
currently
Intact.
a beautiful place, intact.
not blown up.
But it was great to see what is the actor's name again who plays Bail Organa. I love that actor so much.
Is it Vivian Lyra Blair, I think, or
Yeah,
Lyra
I'm
Blair?
gonna have to go look it up, but I love him, and the young actress that plays Leia, Vivian Lyra Blair.
She played it
was the
amazing.
absolute
She's so good.
standout in both of these episodes for me.
Completely agree.
She perfectly embodies Leia. I think Carrie Fisher would cry watching her performance. She's just absolutely incredible. She's so quick-witted. She's so charming, especially when she's talking to the cousin that's giving her
Oh
shit.
my god, love
Yeah.
that.
Like
Scene.
I that's one of my favorite scenes from the first episode. So Chris, I'll toss it to you. What are your thoughts on Vivian's performance as Leia, and give me some of your favorite moments?
I couldn't agree with you more. She's absolutely my favorite part of this show so far. And I knew that a young Luke and Leia had been cast from before the pandemic when they sent out the casting call, but I didn't realize like how critical she was going to be to the overall plot of this show. Like she's the catalyst that gets Obi-Wan out of his funk and to go rescue her. And I we'll talk about it more in episode 2, but I absolutely love the dynamic between the two of them. But I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think she's doing a bang up job. She's a perfect representation of who Carrie Fisher was as Princess Leia in A New Hope. James and I were kind of joking before we started recording that Leia and Luke are such an interesting kind of experiment in regards to nature versus nurture. Because they are of the same genetics and of the same parents, and yet Leia is like very capable of articulating herself. She's very well spoken. She's very confident because she comes from this her adoptive parents are very wealthy. Alderaan is like a very well respected place, and then you have Luke, who was given to his loving aunt and uncle, but they live on this backwater planet of Tatooine. So you have Leia, who's like I said, very confident in herself, adventuring out around Alderaan. She feels very safe. And then you have Luke, who's like working on a moisture farm, and he's just like, I like flying spaceships. Like, it's just so ridiculous
Chris,
that the
you
fact
just
that they
blew
were
my
split
mind.
up,
I never thought
their
about it that
personalities
way.
are so different. The whole time I was watching this with my wife, and she was like, and she's familiar with Star Wars and like knows why they were split up and stuff like that. But she's like, why couldn't they both have been given to Bail Organa? Like, I don't understand. Or like, why wasn't she given to Lars and Beru, two people who are literally blood relatives? Well, no, sorry, they're not blood relatives. They're married into step.
Mm-hmm.
But still, like, imagine if like the roles had been reversed or like both of them went to the same parents. It's just so
The
funny
what
to me
if
that
in
they're
Star
both
Wars
10
universe.
and they're so drastically different people.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the best thing to split them up. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's a percentages thing. It's just like there's more of a chance that they could be found if they're together, because
I completely
there's
agree.
one thing that this show does really well, and it's showing the little bits of the Force that Leia is using that she doesn't even know. Her perception, it's her like connectivity to the Force.
Right.
Knowing how to read people at 10 years old.
Yeah.
that's
like she
amazing.
can read their intentions, their emotions, and that's something that we learned that Leia could do in like what was it, Return of the Jedi,
Merc.
or whenever it is
In-
she actually like uses the Force for the first time.
Are you
Or
talking
was
about
that-
when she
no,
Last
flew?
Jedi.
No, that was
Are you talking about when she flew out of the spaceship and Larry
no,
went back
like
in?
the first time we actually like see her use the Force in terms of like reading someone else's feelings. I think that happens in Empire actually.
It isn't at the very end of Empire.
Yeah.
She hears Luke calling out to her, and
Yeah.
she tells Lando that they have to turn around.
But
Yeah.
didn't
That's
it?
the first moment.
But didn't that get retcon in the comic as well? Or I think in the book of Leia that she also did it much earlier.
I
don't
mean,
know.
we're seeing it from this show that she's doing it right now. She just doesn't
Right.
know.
That is true. Yeah, you got a point.
You know what
And
I mean? So
also-
that was one of my favorite things.
And plus, also Mercenary. Yes, he's totally right. He says Leia continues to get kidnapped, no matter what age it is. That's 100% true.
Got kidnapped at 10, and then 9 years later, she's gonna be kidnapped again
Yep.
by another Sith.
Yep.
That is true, but another says so. But Leia, like James and Chris said, Leia, this actress, Vivian Leia Blair, is doing such a fantastic job. Once I saw her on screen, once you spoke to the cousin, I'm like, oh yeah, this is Leia. This is Leia. This is how she would have spoken. I agree with James that if this was Carrie Fisher saying it, seeing it, she would have cried. Girl would have been proud of this little girl because I was proud of her. Like, she was so adorable. If I have a daughter like this, I'll be proud. I'll be like, yes, tell your cousin what's up. Slap your cousin even. I don't care. Like, stand up for yourself and everything. The mom, though, I question the mom. They're like, well, why you gotta apologize? I don't know about that. I don't agree that type of parenting technique. But hey,
I mean,
I'm trying to maintain
it's politics.
Politics. I get that. That's why I was like,
because remember, the only reason why they're meeting with
it.
them is trying to get fundraising and trying to bring awareness about like slavery and shit like that. And they don't even want to hear it. So that's the only reason why they're putting
I get it.
Dude, that line from, I guess, either the brother or the brother-in-law where he's saying like, oh, look at the empire, like lining our pockets. Like, look at how great this is. You know, it's such an interesting insight into kind of the political state of affairs right now in the Star Wars universe in this time period.
And
where like not everybody's against the empire.
Yeah.
And I like that it shows it because even the father, what I love about the father, knows Leia so well. Like, he literally spoke to her, gave a whole speech to her, and then once he walked out and said, oh, just saying, she's gone. And like, he wasn't even affected. He was like, yeah, she's, you know, girl just did. He's like, why don't you stop her? Like, yeah, I spoke to her. We agree on something. But that did not mean that she actually listened, pay attention, and is going to do what I said. So that's such a beautiful type of relationship, and it shows about mother and dad. So it shows very well. And I love how much faith they call Kenobi, thinking like, hey, yo, girl got kidnapped. And I love how they was like, well, yo, we get it that you're trying to be with the boy, but you know this is his twin sister. How about you get the other sister too? You got to protect her too. So I just love
that like Chris was saying, he's scared and he's using protecting Luke as a crutch to not have to deal with anything.
And he took the most fastest type of ship because he came to the rock type of hideout to him. He said, yo, so you got to get my daughter. I was like, but where did you come out from? You did not have no hesitation to come to. Yes, I know. Yeah, he's rich. He got the money.
The Organas have money.
Oh, yeah. The Organas got money.
But yeah, like I thought she was amazing. I did not think she was going to be this good. I just loved watching her like just running through the woods, climbing trees. That was something that I did a lot when I was a kid. I would climb any fucking tree I could find, and just watching her like just like sitting in the tree, talking to her droid, and just looking at the different ships taking off from Alderaan. And you know, that's something that Luke is into too. He also loves looking at these ships. So it was great to see the parallels between them, and they haven't even met each other. So I thought that was really cool as well.
Agreed.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Leia before we move on to the Inquisitors?
Nope.
Let's do it.
All right, so let's get into the Inquisitor. So Grand Inquisitor, played by Rupert Friend. I thought he was great. We don't get that much from him in the first episode, but I do really like the first time that they land on Tatooine, though, and they walk into that bar, and you just love how the entire scene is just filled with tension, right? Yeah. I love how the camera just constantly switches to different people. You don't know who the Jedi is going to be. And then you're just listening to the Grand Inquisitor just pretty much lay out exactly the way that it played out to the bar owner. It's like, yeah.
Dude, it feels very much like the beginning of Inglourious Bastards.
Right.
With Christoph Waltz hunting Jews. Like, it kind of turns my stomach, to be perfectly honest. But you can tell that, like, very similar things are happening here.
Especially the way that they talk about the Jedi. They talk about them like they're vermin, like.
Yeah.
So it's like I love that opening, and I'm glad that you put that in there as well. But I love just watching him like just break down the bar owner, and then third sister she doesn't waste a fucking beat, and she just throws a knife, and then just because she knew that if there's a Force user, they were going to do something about it, and if not, well, a guy just died.
He was gonna die, and she doesn't care about that. It is strange to me. It's strange to me that seemingly all the other Inquisitors do have a problem with like maiming people, which in Rebels doesn't seem to be the case,
Right.
you know. But you know, Sung Kang's playing what, the fifth brother, right?
Yeah.
And he is a character from Rebels as well.
Yes.
Right.
But that seemed to be strange to me, and maybe they'll like, you know, elaborate on that going forward in the show. But she's definitely the most aggressive out of all of them, even more so than the Grand Inquisitor. But I mean, I suppose that can be broken down to like the Grand Inquisitor maybe having a better understanding of the politics between
Right.
like what they're supposed to be doing and what Vader wants of them, and like how he wants them to hunt down the Jedi, you know. But I'm sure that'll be expanded on, you know, the deeper we get into the series.
Yeah,
No
because I
lie.
instantly thought of it's the politics of it. Because if you make the people think that the Inquisitors are their saviors and they're actually here to take care of them, because
Right,
what
like
do
the
they
Jedi
say?
are dangerous despite
Exactly.
the fact that they're helping you.
And it's like if you cooperate, we'll give you a reward. We'll make it worth your while. We're taking care of the galaxy. We're taking care of the economy. So it's all politics to make people think that they're the good guys. So if
Yeah.
if they're just maiming people everywhere, that doesn't look good.
Which
you know?
Riva just has no problem with at all.
At all.
But at first, in the beginning of episode 1, seeing her obsession for Obi-Wan, at first I was questioning of why. But then finding out by the end of episode 2, it made me realize, like, okay, so it's because she somehow maybe connected to us finding out from the beginning scene that she probably was one of those kids and knew about Anakin. So maybe that's why she had an obsession for Obi-Wan. Because at first, when I first saw the episode, I was like, why is she so obsessed by this dude? Like, every
Yeah.
single scene, the Grand Crystal kept asking, stop your obsession for Obi-Wan. We're doing this my way. We're going to do this. We're going to grab the small fries. Also, was it me or was the fifth brother look a bit like Benedict Wong? Because I don't know if it was just me, but at first
That's just racist, Vash. That's what
I
it
didn't
is.
wanna say
it's
it.
racist.
no. Like at first, I thought that was him. I had to look up the IMDb, to see if that was him because I don't know, like the whole
There's a lot
the
of
makeup
makeup on Sung
yeah,
Kang.
Dude,
yeah,
it does
like, a lot
not
of
look
makeup.
like Sung Kang at all.
When I heard that he was cast in the show, I was really excited. And then when I watched this first episode, and I was like, oh, they put so much makeup on him.
Yeah,
I
but
felt
I mean,
like the
he's
bit-
he's
A little
great. though.
disappointed.
Yeah,
but he
exactly.
is great. He is great in the show.
I felt like the makeup was a bit too much. I do agree on that.
I loved it. Because I
No,
mean,
no, like
because
it was
you're
good, but I felt like it
playing,
was slightly.
you're serving a character. I shouldn't see you. You're playing a character. The character doesn't look like you, so I should see the character, right? So it can go either way. Like if you wanted to just use his face and call it that character, I'm fine with that too. Look at Gore the God Butcher. Doesn't look like him, but I'm perfectly fine with it, right? So I fucking love Fifth Brother, and if you're using really good headphones, if you have really good speakers, you can hear the second level of his voice, which is
that's cool.
in a lower
Yeah.
register. Yeah. So
Oh.
so it's almost like there's like his voice is doubled, his
Mhm.
regular voice, and then there's one that's at a lower frequency. So it
That's
sounds so fucking sick. Like Sung Kang's voice sounds amazing. So yeah, put on some headphones, turn it up, and you'll hear it. But he's so good. I think he's so haunting, but also like controlled and calculated, because you can see he has the capacity to be like Third Sister, but he can control his impulses, which Third
Yes.
Sister cannot. So Chris, I,
I mean,
want to ask
he's
you,
one of the Inquisitors that lasts.
right?
You know, makes it into Rebels. So
So
Makes
I want to
sense.
ask you, like, what do you think Third Sister's motivations are? Why is she so hard for Obi-Wan? Because in
So-
episode 2, we get a little glimpse into that she wants the glory for bringing Obi-Wan to Vader, but there's so much anger. There's too
But
much
then she
anger.
knows. But then she knows who Vader is. Anakin Skywalker is what she's told Obi. So there's something that she probably wants to please Vader, or maybe get more power from Vader or Palpatine. So there
Yeah,
has to
but
be
it
some
just
type
it
of
just
obsession
seems it
for
just seems too personal. It doesn't feel like someone that's just after power. It seems really personal.
Do you feel
Because
like
she's
maybe
willing to kill anyone. She kidnapped a child.
I think that there could be several different things going on here. The first could potentially be that all three of us said that we 100% think she is the Padawan in the opening sequence of the show.
Yes.
So it's possible that she blames Obi-Wan for what
That's what I'm
happened.
gonna bring up. Yep.
And she is just incredibly resentful, and she's using her position in the Inquisitorial Squad to take revenge on him, right? The one thing, and we're kind of getting into like what she's doing in the second episode here, but the one thing that I don't quite understand is why she knows Vader is Anakin Skywalker. And I think Vash kind of touched on it a little bit a moment ago, and that if she was in the Jedi Temple and she saw him slaughtering younglings as she's trying to escape, I'm sure she could piece together that this man is Darth Vader. But the Inquisitorial Squad works so closely with Vader. They are directly under him.
Right.
He oversees the whole experiment for them hunting Jedi. Another thing I'm wondering is, like, has he given her directive outside of what the Grand Inquisitor is aware of? And is that why she's, acting outside of what the Grand Inquisitor wants her to do? These are all questions that won't be answered until further into the series. But there are a lot of things that I hope they resolve, because the fact that Darth Vader's Anakin Skywalker isn't something that should be as commonly known as it
Right.
seems to be here in these first two episodes. Most people think Anakin's dead.
Right.
Why does she know that he's
And
that
say
Darth
so
Vader's Anakin
publicly
Skywalker?
to Obi as well. Like say so publicly, tell him like, oh,
Right.
he's alive and everything.
Right.
And that's saying
Shouting it.
who it is. Yeah, shouting it like where anybody in the whole factory could hear it. But also saying that why she's so obsessed about Obi. How does she know he's still alive after 10 years? Because even the Grand Inquisitor said it, I think in episode 1 was it, or episode 2. He said it, we've been searching for 10 years. How we still have not found him. Why do you think he's still alive?
Mhm.
And why do you think he's in the Outer Rim and everything? So how does she know this little more information and obsession more than the other two Grand Inquisitors? So that
I don't
also
know.
makes us questions.
hoping it's
to-
revealed.
Because me
Yes.
too. Because I don't think that Vader knew that Obi-Wan was on Tatooine. I don't think he knew that.
I don't think he did either. I think Tatooine's the very last place that Vader wants to go.
Right. So it's like
Yes.
so it's very
Same.
interesting. I'm in between you guys. The first thing that I thought of was something had to happen when she runs out with those kids. She has to see Anakin with the Emperor. She has to see Anakin killing younglings, and then with the hatred towards Obi-Wan, she had to have seen what I thought of instantly was she saw Obi-Wan get into like a jet and just leave, right? And maybe that's what brings all this hatred towards Obi-Wan. You are one of the greatest. You are supposed to stay and protect us. And she sees it as running, but we know that
I mean, he's a
Obi-Wan
master
was on
on the
his way
Jedi
to
Council.
Mustafar. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
she's like, why is this master abandoning us?
Right. So it could be that, and I mean, she's channeling the dark side. It's a lot of rage. It's a lot of hate that fuels her. So it's I can't wait to see how it's revealed. But yeah, again, like, what is the relationship between her and Anakin? It's going to be really, really interesting. So any other final thoughts on episode 1 before we transition into episode 2?
I think
I love Vash.
I was gonna
Go
say,
for
I
it.
think our boy Christian Katie has a thought. He said Obi-Wan the Fallen Order.
Christian, what's good, bro?
So
Chris?
I just wanted to say how much I really like the final sequence of this episode, where he's kind of just standing outside of the port,
Yes.
like really still trying to figure out if he wants to go on this adventure or not. And then the woman's like, "Are you coming or not?" And then we get a flash of his lightsaber, and he hands her the ticket and steps onto the transport. I really dig that.
Chris,
Yeah.
I want to bring that up because of what you said a bit earlier about his anxiety. It shows that his body language as well, that he was questioning that if he still wants to or if he still should go, or can he even do something about it. That body language of him being very hesitant, it shows the doubt, the anxiety, the questioning. And I love that because, most people just go straight through, but
Right.
you stop yourself at the border because once you cross that, you can't go back. Like, you
He's
could.
crossing the threshold in terms
Correct.
of the hero's journey. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so he's crossing the threshold to become and regain himself, to become who he, was from what we saw in New Hope and everything. So it's nice to see that bonding. It's nice to see this type of facial expression. It shows that why he's doubting himself, why he's questioning himself. So I love that scene. That any scene was perfectly a good way to end it.
Yeah, and
Agreed.
it's like you guys already alluded to. This is the hero's journey. This is the true like hero's journey because it's not about power. It's not about strength. It's about the will to do what's right. You know what I mean? And he has that power, and he is still very afraid. You know, and he's out of practice. He's out of tune with the force, but he knows that it's the right thing to do, and he just does it. Like that is the most important thing about being a hero for me, like taking that first step, your body just launching without your mind even knowing what's happening. Shout out to my hero. So let's move into episode 2, part 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're gonna do the same thing again. We're gonna go into character breakdown and just start off with Obi-Wan Kenobi again. One of my favorite aspects of Obi-Wan in this episode is that he was getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
For me, it was very
You can't use the
important.
Force.
Yeah, for me, it was very important for me to watch him get his ass kicked. He hasn't fought in 10 years. He hasn't used the Force in 10 years. So he elbows that one guy, right? And then he gets immediately punched in the gut, and he's in so much pain.
Yeah.
So it was great for me to, like, watch him get his ass kicked. It was great for me to just, like, watch him walk around this place. And you can still see all of that anxiety, all of that fear, because there's, you know, stormtroopers walking around everywhere. Everyone's looking for Jedi. You know what I mean? And real quick, what was in Daiyu? I think this
Daiyu
this
is the name of the
planet,
planet, yeah.
looks so cool. I love like the Hong Kong feel to it. Let me
Straight
Yeah.
out of Blade Runner, dude.
Yes,
Straight out of
thank you,
Blade
Yo, Chris. Like, are you in my mind today? Because you literally saying the stuff I'm about to say. Oh, Jedi mind trick. Look at that. Look at us. Look at us.
So I absolutely love the design of Daiyu. And real quick, the woman trying to get passage to Corellia. How terrible of a planet is Daiyu that you want to go to Corellia? What?
It has to be like just drug ridden, like spice
Like-
everywhere. Open a door, spice everywhere. Like
Corellia
that has to be
is
the state of being there.
worst. Why would
Yeah.
you want
I
to
felt
go to Corellia?
When I heard that, I thought the same thing. I was like, why?
And plus, I felt so bad when the girl said, "I was somebody's daughter once."
Nah, that broke
Oh,
me.
You
Bro.
would never.
terrible.
I was like, damn, that's kind of dark, but okay.
That broke me,
That
bro.
like, I didn't expect that little line or scene that. And then when girl walked away, her eyes got sad and just walked away. Like, okay, Obi, can we go? Can we go save the daughter then? 'Cause, like,
Yeah.
shit. Like, good line, good execution, character that we may never see again, but it felt the real world of Daiyu. It showed that this type of city or planet is like Chris brought up, like that Blade Runner, futuristic, Hong Kong, type of Tokyo, type of feel. So it felt very real.
Yeah.
Great setup for later on in the episode, though, handing him the bottle of spice to use as like a smoke screen later
Yeah.
on. That was pretty cool. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like a weird, fun callback to an Attack of the Clones when that guy tries to sell him death sticks in the bar. You know, Obi-Wan's always
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
offered drugs
He
wherever
is,
he
right?
goes. You want to buy some death sticks?
So, Chris, what were some of your favorite moments with Obi-Wan in this episode?
It's so interesting seeing him use a blaster.
Yes.
Right.
Because in Revenge of the Sith, there's that famous line where he's like, what an uncivilized weapon or whatever,
Right.
and he like drops it after killing Grievous. But like he has to. He can't use his lightsaber in public. He really can't like use the Force effectively anymore. So, close combat, like you were talking about, James, and using a blaster really his only means of protecting himself. And I think this is another piece of Obi-Wan's arc that illustrates how broken he truly is. He is just not the man that he was during the Clone Wars. He has given up on literally every single one of his beliefs, whether it be, using a saber instead of a gun or being close to his spiritual roots. Like, this is just, he's so completely detached from that person. And yes, he says it in the first episode, like, I'm just not that man anymore. But these little small details really go a long way showing us that he really isn't. Like, he's an entirely different person. He's somewhere in between the Clone Wars Obi-Wan and the Alec Guinness Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And I really dig that.
Yeah.
Are we talking about favorite moments or
Yeah,
Obi-Wan's character in episode
favorite
2?
moments from Obi-Wan. Any thoughts on his characterization in the episode?
So favorite moments of Obi-Wan in this character, my boy, the facial expression when he was trying to use the Force to save Leia,
Great.
from the rope or wire, whatever it was. It did such a good job. The tension, the slow-mo shot of her falling, him trying to question if he could actually save her, and then everyone in the type of market seeing that little girl falling, and them like, oh my god, he's a girl saved and everything. It showed the suspense. We all knew she is gonna live because we know that in the next years she's gonna get kidnapped again and
She has
such.
to live.
So just seeing those scenes, the tension still felt real. It felt the stakes that we know these characters where they're gonna be at, but it felt the stakes in those moments. So I like that much. Also, like I believe Crystal James brought up, my boy got the hands at him because it shows that he's not been training. So it shows that he's a bit rusty. That's what you call when a fighter has not been fighting. That's what you call and see somebody. He's rusty as hell. So I can't wait to see him fight. I can't wait for him to fight the Grand Inquisitor if she becomes it. Or
dude, he's gonna get his ass kicked by Vader. Vader's
That's why I
gonna
can't
wreck
wait.
him.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait for that. For him to be off his game and be like, you know what? I should go back to training because you're off your game, my guy.
We're talking about Vader at the literal height of his power,
And Obi-Wan
versus
at his weakest.
Obi-Wan at his weakest. Like, he is not gonna be okay. So, Chris, I
I just
want to
wanna-
toss. Go ahead.
Before we move on, Christian in the chat said, "There's no hello there. 0 out of 10 stars." Oh, sorry, 0 out of 10 Star Wars. Great job, bro.
And plus, he also.
Go ahead.
No, James, go say his comment.
Now I was just gonna transition into Kumail Nanjiani's character and him interacting with Obi-Wan. So, Chris,
That's
if you want
perfect
to
timing.
take that first.
It's a lot of fun, you know. Kumail Nanjiani makes a great con man, and it's not like he's wholly bad. You know, he's just kind of running the streets of Dayu. You know, doing what he has to do to survive. Like, yes, he took some credits to get these people off planet, but he knew that getting them off planet would be the safest thing for them.
Right.
You know, at the end of the episode, he helps Leia and Obi-Wan get off planet as well. And I just put next to Obi-Wan this man who is pretending to be a Jedi in an era in the galaxy where it's like exceptionally dangerous to be a Jedi, I think speaks to his naivety and maybe how brave he is. Like the clout that he thinks comes along with being a Jedi from the Clone Wars just does not exist within the galaxy anymore. And yet he's still trying to be a hero. Like when he interacts with Reva after he's given Leia and Obi-Wan the pass, he's like pretending to be this badass Jedi and she just like flings him against a wall. It's fun. It's fun stuff. Yeah, I think he was a good choice. I hope his character comes back maybe later in the series. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Definitely. And I think he brings in the right amount of humor too. Like again, when he's talking to Reva, what's the bounty in my head? 1 million, 2 million.
Either way, you're not gonna get it. He's so stupid.
It felt good at first. It threw me off, like the way he was being funny comedic, but then it fit his character. Once what he said was my bounty, 1 million, 2 million. I was like, it fit his character, and I understood where he was. But then made me question, like, does he really have a force? But then once he got hit and said, so that's what a force feels like. No magnets, no nothing. Oh wow, that packs a punch. So just seeing his reaction and seeing that was great. By the way, I'm here to look at the cast for the Obi-Wan series. Is that true that I see Ice Cube in the list of cast? Because I see Ice Cube in that.
I did not see that.
Well, I'm not sure if he's going to show up later, but in the cast list, it says Ice Cube. So I'm not sure if he's going to show up in the next 4 episodes.
Where do you see Ice Cube? On IMDb?
Yeah.
I do not see that.
Maybe someone's going around on IMDb just adding Ice Cube to everything that they possibly can.
Sure.
But
we'll see as the show progresses. That would be fun.
In the next 4 weeks, we'll find out and see if that's true. That Vash just said something. Hopefully, that I try to put some fake rumors out there, but no.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm looking at the IMDb. I don't see it here. Something I did want to bring up though. Now that you mentioned that, O'Shea Jackson Jr. is gonna be on the show.
Him
doing
too.
What? Like that's gonna be cool.
So it's pretty interesting. We have an interesting cast list that we'll be finding out in the next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Just to overall, like, I'm happy he's here. I can't wait to see what else comes if he does come back in the next 4 episodes. Because from what we know, he didn't get killed, right? He
No.
just got thrown off to the wall, and that girl left, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think
Okay,
she
cool,
killed him.
cool.
Yeah, he's fine.
All right.
Oh yeah,
Overall-
because she did like the Kylo Ren "I'm entering your mind"
Yes.
thing,
Yeah.
and then went off to go get Obi-Wan and Leia.
Yeah, which was great setup, by the way, because now she knows exactly where they're going.
Right.
And I love the name drop to, what was it, Mapuzu or Mapuzo or whatever the planet is, this like random planet from Star Wars lore. Like, I thought that was cool. So we're actually gonna get to see that in live action Star Wars. That's gonna
That'll
be
be cool.
cool. And it's like, who is he gonna meet there? Is he gonna meet maybe a Jedi or someone from like the Resistance that wants to like help the Jedi, that will help them get back to Alderaan? Like, this was like, the end of this episode was great setup for like what's to come in episode 3. So what did you guys think of Leia's character in this episode? Because there were some moments where I wanted to shake her, but then at the same time it's like, well, she's a kid, this guy's a stranger, she doesn't know who he is. These other strangers kidnapped her, she doesn't know what his intentions are. So it's like, I like the emotional roller coaster with Leia in this episode.
She's
but
right
I'll
to be
toss it to you guys.
skeptical.
Right.
You know, she's definitely right to be skeptical. And like you said, she's 10 years old. She's never left Alderaan before. Like, despite being incredibly intelligent, she's still a 10-year-old kid. You know, so that moment where Obi-Wan's kind of telling her that they need to get off planet and this is what they need to do. And then she's not thinking about any of the repercussions or how they're going to do it. She's like, then, all right, we have the plan. Let's go. And then she immediately turns and like runs into this huge monster looking thing. I think it's fitting for who she's supposed to be, you know, and the age that she currently is. I'm still completely enthralled with everything that this little actress is doing.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
doing
Yes.
an excellent job.
She's
Vash.
she's doing a great balance with Obi's character, because that is their first time they meet, but also that's on his fault too, because he's trying to keep his identity secret. He's trying to keep his identity a secret from everyone around the whole galaxy, and from her to not know who he is. So he's just telling her small information. But yes, maybe he could have told her more that, hey, your father sent me to save you, but I am a wanted man, but I don't want to be found. But my job is just to return you to your father. He could have just kept it more simple. But he was such a person that has been in hiding for 10 years, who has never dealt with kids other than her father. I mean, yes, her father, Anakin. So he hasn't dealt with much kids in his life to actually know how to deal with young kids and experience. Because he even told her, how old are you? Oh, you're acting much older than you should be.
So I'm used to watching a 10-year-old kid pretend to fly spaceships all day long.
Exactly.
You're
Right.
You are doing so much better than he is. My God.
So he sees the difference, and that's why he had to question her age, because he had to make sure, like, are you the right person?
Owen and
are you
Baru
really
are doing
his sister?
something wrong, I think.
So it's just it shows for his character and her character why they had that type of dynamic for this first time of interaction. It made total sense. And yes, James, I'm on your same boat. I wanted her to strangle, like, girl, you're making problems worse. You're making shit found out.
The
You're
moment
making
where he's paying
blasters.
for the green jacket and she's putting on the gloves and he's like, you don't need those. And then she keeps putting them on. He's like, the gloves too. He's like a totally defeated man, just succumbing to the whim of this little princess. It's so funny. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'll pay you for the gloves. We just need to get out of here.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, we have
like,
to go
he just wanted to
now.
escape, but girls are making it worse. And I love also the little actress again. Her reactions to these new creatures, these new things that she had never seen, because she had never left the planet. And I love that because it shows like, oh, whoa. And like, girl just kept running, but also she kept her composure, because she's trying to escape the person that's wanted, that she believes is bad, but she was like shocked at everything she met around. So great type of acting for her to keep her composure, but also trying to escape. So that was also a great scene of her character.
Yeah.
I love that when she asks him what his name is, he says that he's Ben.
Yes.
You can call me Ben. And that fits within the canon, because in A New Hope, when she's sending that message with R2, she's never met Obi-Wan Kenobi before. So his identity is still kind of shrouded a little bit. This random Jedi, Ben, that saved her when she was 10 years old, isn't the same person as this Obi-Wan Kenobi she's heard about from her father, Bail Organa, in A New Hope. So it doesn't totally break canon where they're like, oh, they're meeting a little bit earlier than they're supposed to, but because there's another 10 years and he has room to age and transform into Alec Guinness, maybe he's not recognizable to her when they rescue her on the Death Star.
And that's my only pushback, though. It's only 9 years, though. You're not gonna look that different, though. It's only 9 years.
I was thinking
Tatooine
that
is
too.
a brutal climate, James.
But also, James, it has 2 damn suns.
Yeah.
You know the amount of your skin can wrinkle. I don't know. I
So
question that
leathery.
sun. And also, I don't think they have sunscreen over there. So with those 2 suns blazing at you every single day, you working and you cutting that meat. So pause. But yeah, so it's just, I get it. 9 years seems very short to get from having brown hair, still looking good, but then going to white hair, looking mad wrinkle and being old. Hey, 2 suns blazing at you for 9 years, or technically 19 years, could do a big difference.
Man,
It works.
I love everything that Ewan McGregor is doing in this episode. Like, I just love like watching him just like walk around Dayu and just like slipping in between people, because like a part of being a Jedi is having those like spy skills, you know. Like he walks into the spice lab, causes a distraction so that he can get to the back, and then he's looking around. He gets into that fight that we talked about already. And I also love like when he drops the spice and he gets out, like there's a couple moments where he's just looking at the lightsaber, and it's like it feels like he doesn't even know if he could turn the thing on anymore.
Yes.
So how did you guys feel about that?
Ash.
I was actually gonna ask a different question.
Cool.
What was your question, James? Sorry, can you repeat that?
How do you
No.
feel about his struggle to turn on the lightsaber when he's like making his way out of the spice den?
That was beautiful because it showed the expression again, going back to his face expression, body language. It shows that he was questioning, like, can I even turn it on? Like, do I even remember how to turn it on? Where's this button? Where's this button to
Is
restart
it
the
smart
engine?
to turn it on in this moment?
Yeah, like he was questioning, doubting himself, like, can I still access this? Can I still fight with the Force? Can I still fight with lightsaber? Do I cut off my arm if I do something, like stuff like that? In my head, I was just questioning like those kind of jokes, but at the same time, like it showed us a real life crisis. It's the same thing as any type of Army, Navy, any type of veteran. If you haven't used your gun in many years, but then you have to for some type of emergency, do you even know how to aim? So do you even know how to pull the trigger still? Those type of things, gives you flashback. Like, can you still do what you used to do? Like, those are real choices. Those are real type of PTSD. Because this is a weapon. Lightsaber is a high type of velocity that could cut off anything. So it shows that how much pressure it is for you.
Yeah, there's just a lot of baggage that comes along with using it. I get
Yeah.
it. We haven't even talked about Flea's Oscar-worthy performance in this show.
I was gonna bring that up next. So I mean, I didn't think he was gonna have this much of a role, even if it was just Flea.
Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, he's the one that kidnaps Leia.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think he was gonna be that involved.
Neither did I. I didn't even know he was going to be in the show. So when he popped up, I was like, "Oh shit, that's awesome!" I love seeing Flea pop up and stuff.
We think he's dead, right?
He's definitely dead.
Oh,
You hear
yeah,
him scream.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I love this image of the Grand Inquisitor just spinning the lightsaber, and then all we hear is him scream as he gets closer and closer. Was he using the Force to pull him in closer?
I'm pretty sure he was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure I wasn't tripping, because I thought I saw that, because I'm like, why are you getting closer?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool scene. It's off. We don't get to see him die. It's off camera, but I think it's a great transition with him screaming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It
like
works well.
he definitely got killed. I did not see that coming. But
It was also funny to watch people high on spice before, because I don't think
yeah.
we've ever actually really seen people high on spice in Star Wars, really.
Yeah, I don't think we
So-
have.
We've
spice-
talked about spice. We've seen
Mm-hmm.
people traffic spice, but we've never seen people use spice.
So this made me question: is spice here in this episode like coke, like that?
It's like
is that
heroin.
what-
Yeah. It's
okay,
a
cool.
hallucinogen.
Thank you. I was trying to confirm in my head because when I saw that scene, I'm like, wait, is that like coke that he just threw or like some heroin? But I just want to confirm. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
But
that's why he
talking-
puts the mask on when he's running out. Like he throws to
Okay.
make the smoke screen and then puts the mask on.
But talking about the Grand Inquisitors, can we talk about the third sister Reva, of how she did the whole jumping on the rooftop so smoothly, going from corner to corner to top
Jedi
to top.
parkour.
Yo, that was some dope stuff. I was like, girl, you doing it so well. Like she
I love the
It was
camera
pretty
angles
sick.
too.
Her like
Yes, the camera
pushing the
angles.
column down and then running up the
Yes.
column as it's falling and then jumping off it and doing like the tumble into the. I don't know. It was
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
cool.
but
sick.
it shows the determination that she had to find Obi. Once she looked around, noticed, because she was smart, she went above high ground, which is also very common. Like she said, I have the high ground, because girl could have a whole type of
Sightline.
a whole type of city view for her to see what's going on. And then once she saw the commotion, she's like, that has to be where I need to go. So that was really dope to see that happening.
Agreed.
Yeah, I again, this speaks to her obsession. Like, she literally puts a hit out on Obi-Wan, the whole city, to every bounty hunter, and just like waiting to see what happens. Because I mean, it's a smart plan. It's fucked up. Like, she doesn't care about anyone's life, but it's a smart plan. If I see some blasters going off, if I hear a commotion, Obi-Wan.
That's where he is.
Exactly. You know, I there was a part of me that wanted them to have more of an interaction, but there's 4 more episodes to go. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
we're
Definitely
going to
gonna
see
more
so
screen
much more
time
between
together.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now the big question, since we're still on the topic of the Inquisitors, how do we feel about his death, the Grand Inquisitor just stabbed in the chest?
He's not dead, bro. There's
He's
no
not
way.
dead, and I have no idea why the internet is losing their fucking mind. It's like,
Thank you.
Rebels isn't
Thank you.
canon anymore.
Yeah,
It's like,
James
dude,
and I were talking
what?
about this before we started recording.
Oh,
Darth
did?
Maul
Oh.
literally gets chopped in half with a lightsaber, and he
Thank you.
survives. So there's no way that the Grand Inquisitor is dead. Like, Rebels is absolutely still canon. We just have to wait a couple of days. I'm sure they'll toss him in a bacta tank or something.
Yeah, it'd be
Or,
fine.
like, give him some mod bits. Please, I hope that's not what happens. But there are many ways to salvage him.
Thank you for saying that, Chris, because and like people that saw the recap of the first episode literally saw Obi-Wan just cutting half of Darth Maul.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, literally have not seen Rebels where literally Darth Maul has 2, legs that are not real of his.
His robot legs, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, y'all are gonna get mad at just a stab in the chest. That's why I actually get asked, that question, how you guys feel about that
Yeah,
death.
I'm like,
'Cause I'm gonna
they
say-
just went straight to, Rebels isn't canon anymore. I'm like, dude, relax. Like,
Yeah.
Like,
First
there's
of all,
more to that.
lightsabers, I have no idea like exactly how hot they are, but they
cauterize
obviously
as they
instantly
stab.
cauterize the wound.
Yeah.
So and then the other thing is, where's Fifth Brother, right? He has to be somewhere close. He's going to grab the Grand Inquisitor, get him straight into a bacta tank. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be totally okay.
Exactly what Chris brought up is that he got stabbed, but then he didn't bleed because you're literally burning the wound to not your blood come out. So at the end of the day,
Which is
he could
exactly
still-
how Darth Maul survived.
exactly.
And the
So
Force,
I
of
don't
course.
understand. So I don't understand why people on the timeline got mad. Like, oh my God, Rebels not canon. Look what they do with the canon. I'm like, no. How about you guys wait until next episode, see if that's true, or just maybe wait and see what happens actually, instead of you throw your arms in the air and get all mad and write things on Twitter. But it was nice to see that. But what I'm curious to see now, what's next going to be the interaction with the Inquisitors now that she did what she did. Is she going to be on the run, or is she going to be, talk to Palpatine, be told like, hey, we heard what happened. We got to train you again or stuff like that. So I'm curious to see what are her consequences for her character
for
going to
doing
be.
that.
Yeah,
Because-
Chris, what do you think? Because it really could go both ways, right? Because we've seen with the Sith that could be congratulated, or she could be killed. You know what I mean?
Right. Like I was mentioning earlier, we don't really know completely what her motivations are. If she's super fixated on getting revenge on Obi-Wan Kenobi, she's just going to go after him. She's just going to keep following him. But if she has that directive from Vader himself, and like I said, if she was working outside of what the Grand Inquisitor was aware of, it doesn't matter. As long as she's still on the mission that Vader has put her on, he's not going to bat an eye at her killing the Grand Inquisitor. So I think, obviously it's yet to be seen. We'll find out in the coming episodes, but I don't think they're going to be too many repercussions for doing that outside of the Grand Inquisitor, like, really being pissed at her.
Yeah. And here's another thing that kind of speaks to, like, like a deeper relationship between her and Vader in terms of like what her mission could be. When she's talking to the people that kidnap Leia, she mentions the fact that Obi-Wan and Bail Organa like
Has a
fought
relationship
together
past.
in the war.
Right.
It's like, how do you know that? Like, who's telling you these intimate details?
She was in the Jedi Temple during the Clone Wars. So
Right.
she must have seen Bail Organa walking around the temple at points.
Right, that's true.
So
yeah.
I'm assuming like that's probably where she made the connection, because she definitely, and I was kind of concerned about this after watching the episode. I was like, does she know that Leia's Anakin's daughter? And I don't think that's the case. I really just think she's after Obi-Wan. She knows that Bail Organa is a friend of Obi-Wan's. How do you get Bail Organa to like bring Obi-Wan out of hiding? Well, you capture his daughter, you know? So
Yeah, so my guess is on the same ball, so because if she didn't know that's Anakin's daughter, she would have not done that type of crazy move. So I believe that she believes that that is the blood daughter of Bail Organa, not
Agreed.
the truly adopted daughter that's not known publicly. So that's
Right,
my
yeah, I
guess
don't
as
think
well.
she was thinking that far ahead.
Because if not, Anakin will be like, you know what, you done
And
because you just took my daughter.
Anakin does believe that his children are dead.
yep.
That too. That's very true.
You know, I mean, he locked once Palpatine told him that. I'm sure he just locked that part of himself away, and he's full on Vader. And let's talk about that real quick. So, I love the ending of this episode. Like I alluded to in the beginning when we started talking about it, the score over the ending of this is incredible. Ewan McGregor's face acting. He's just sitting there. He can't even hear Leia anymore. He's just thinking, "Oh my God, my brother, my
just
friend,
like flooding
my
back into him.
Padawan, yeah, the one that I trained, that I thought I killed 10 years ago. He's still alive. He's been looking for me." And then he says Anakin. And then we switch to Hayden Christensen in the Bacta tank with this incredible fucking score by Natalie Holt. And you just hear him breathing, and just his red and yellow eyes just looking so fucking sick. Oh my God. Dude, when it happened, I rewound it like 3 times just so I can experience it again. I was like, just him breathing. I was like, the blood that's flowing to my dick right now.
Well, that's some really good.
Yes, I love
Envision.
Star Wars that much.
James
yes.
had a massive Sith hard on.
He did, definitely. And when that hard on, I definitely understand his emotions, because Obi-Wan, like Bo was about to cry, like his tears were ready, because he understood and realized, like, wait, I didn't kill my best friend, I didn't kill my brother. So but now he's gonna come to the realization, like, wait, I didn't kill him, but he's in the dark side now. He's in the Sith side. So now I can't wait for the next episode, because now I can't wait to see, is he gonna have a new type of, not obsession, what's the word? A new motive, a new way of life. Is he gonna reignite his religion? Is he gonna reignite his way of to live, to not just think that he feels a failure? Now he's like, wait, okay, cool, hold up. I didn't kill my best friend, I didn't kill my brother, but I didn't succeed in stopping him to the dark side. Now, him finding out that he is on the dark side, he is probably under Palpatine. Now, I'm curious to see what is Disney and Lucasfilm, what are they going to show us for episode 3 in the next 4 episodes for his character? How is he going to come to this new idea of that now he has to train Luke, now he has to protect Leia more, because their father is alive, even though he doesn't know that if he knows if their kids are alive or not. So it's going to be very interesting for the next 4 episodes of Obi-Wan's character and his thought process.
I think
sure in
this
that moment he's
situation. Go ahead, Chris.
I'm sure he's just feeling incredible guilt, knowing
course.
in that, learning in that moment that Anakin's alive and not going to find him sooner. You know, 10 years has passed. So much can happen in that amount of time. And like maybe not going and making a second attempt to bring him back to the light before this moment, which is seemingly way too late.
Yeah, I think this makes his mental state even worse.
Agreed.
Because it's like, holy shit, I thought that I left my brother to die and burn in a volcano planet, and he's actually been alive under the influence of the Emperor for the last 10 years. I haven't done anything. I haven't been able to help him anything. Like, I think this just throws him further into guilt. So the beginning of episode 3 from Obi-Wan's perspective is definitely going to be interesting.
is. And I'm curious to see how Leia, with her reading and understanding people by their emotions, I'm curious to see how she's gonna react and how she's gonna ask him, "Are you okay?" Because of how she's been technically reading him throughout the whole episode two. Curious to see if she's gonna have an understanding. Because I don't know if it's just me, but did you guys think that she understood of what Obi-Wan was talking about? Her friend, I mean his friend, of a she. Do you think that she understood that was
No,
probably her
Nah,
mom?
nah.
but that's
Okay,
also a great moment
Yeah,
in the
still a great
episode.
moment too. Saying like, I know a person that was stubborn. I'm not stubborn. Like when a person say I'm not stubborn, you are stubborn, ma'am. You are.
she's just so good. Like I want to see some like behind the scenes stuff with her. Like I want to see like how many takes does she do? Like is she just like hitting this on like the first take? Like she's just so good. She for 10 years old, she's exuding this power that we've seen from Carrie Fisher for years. And in these 2 episodes, it's right there. She's
amazing.
instantly Leia. She's amazing.
I'm gonna say this now. I don't mind in the next 10, 15 years if this actress still has any interest in the Star Wars world, in the Lucasfilm world. If they want to do a Princess Leia with this character type of movie or TV show, I have no problem with this actor to probably reprise her role. I'm just saying this now. If she's doing this good at 10 years old, who knows if she still looks the same for the Princess Leia's character in the future. But just by seeing her in her acting age now and how well she's doing this for her character Tony, I'm totally fine with. I'm gonna just say this now.
Yeah, man. These first 2 episodes have been incredible. I can't wait to see what happens in episode 3. Since we saw Vader at the end of 2, maybe we see him in 3. Be very, very excited to know if that happens or not. But I was absolutely blown away by everything. The visuals, the sound mix, the sound design, the score, the acting. Oh my god. So incredible. Instantly teleported back to this time in this era of Star Wars, and it didn't miss a beat.
Yeah, it's so seamlessly connects to the prequel era of Star Wars. I'm really digging it.
Yeah,
Well,
it's done so well. So I'm gonna toss it to you guys for final thoughts, and then we're gonna head out for the night. So Vash, starting with you, let me get your final thoughts on Obi-Wan Episode 2.
well, Hayden Christensen, it says in his IMDb that he will be in episode 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6 as Darth Vader.
They could be lying. They said Benny Safdie was gonna be in all 6 episodes. He died in episode
Whoops.
1. I never trust IMDb anymore when it comes to how many episodes someone is gonna be in a series. But Vash, let me get your final thoughts.
My final thoughts as a Star Wars fan that got reignited with the Mando new series, and then with the Book of Boba Fett, and with Ahsoka, and all these new properties coming in the future. Like I said during the new segment breakdown from Star Wars Celebration, and from what we could be having, Obi-Wan really exceeding my expectation. Honestly, I haven't watched my trailers, read a lot of articles, nothing like that. I just wanted to watch and enjoy it as a fan.
Same.
Yes, when we do this coverage, we are fans, but also critics, whatever it may be. But as a fan comes first. I'm not part of any fandom. I don't want to be part of that shit because you're toxic or not, whatever it is. But to enjoy the medium and have fun and to be entertained by what you enjoy. And these 2 episodes are leading up to something great. I can't wait to see what it executes and to see if any other future projects that Obi-Wan we see in the past or any other side missions. But the more we tell, it's going to be much harder to squeeze in any more information because we already have seen a lot of his story from the cartoons and from the comics and currently from the movies. So his story is becoming more slimmer to tell. But overall, can't wait to see what happens with the next 4 episodes, and I'm excited.
Chris, final thoughts?
Before I give my final thoughts, I just want to shout out a scene that James and I were talking about before we started recording. I want to get it on record. The clone trooper veteran cameo at the beginning of episode 2 was something I did not expect. And it is, like, as I was telling James before we started rolling the mic, it's so true to life and so real world and how we handle our veterans here, at least in the United States. And seeing Obi-Wan interact with that character, James and I were talking about how it must have been this really conflicting moment for him, because he battled with these clone troopers for a decade during the Clone Wars as brothers and partners and teammates, and yet they betrayed him when Order 66 came around. But he still has the compassion to give this clone trooper some money when he sees him, because he knows what this clone has been through. It wasn't the clones, it wasn't their fault when they executed Order 66. They were all brainwashed. So it's just a really great Star Wars moment, in my opinion. And I've told you guys over the course of the last couple months, Obi-Wan Kenobi was my most anticipated show for all of 2022. And that's outside of any genre. Like, this was the show that I was most excited to see this year. And I'm just so pleasantly surprised by what it gave us in the first 2 episodes. I really hope the quality continues. I think having Deborah Chow direct every single one of these episodes, all 6 episodes, was the perfect move, because instead of passing the baton back and forth between directors, we're literally just getting like a 5 to 6 hour movie with her cinematic sensibilities. You know, like, it's going to feel more cohesive, I think, than any other Star Wars television show we've gotten before, because it's all under one creative eye. And I'm just excited to see where it goes from here.
Same, man. Like, I couldn't have said it better myself. And thank you for bringing up that scene. I can't believe I forgot to bring it up. It's such a powerful scene for everything that you mentioned. But yeah, man, having Deborah Chow direct all 6 of these episodes, this was the right thing to do. I'm really hoping for one day where Bryce Dallas Howard can just direct an entire Star Wars series.
Yeah,
like,
that'd be cool.
People have said like they wanted to do a movie. I think she could do so much more if she had a TV series with like 5-6 hours of a story of just her directing it. I think she has a unique style. Like, I think I can tell when it's an episode directed by Bryce Dallas Howard.
Maybe if there's like a Bo-Katan TV spinoff or something, I think she'd be great for that.
I would not mind about that. Please look this film. I know you're watching, so I don't mind about that.
I mean, it would make so much sense to do that too, though, especially after Mando Season 3. We can see what she's been up to during the events post Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Or Rebels too, during the story of her perspective.
Man, that would be amazing.
And then you guys would be too.
Yeah. God,
it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, give me that show right now, please. But final thoughts for me. I thought this was a great 2 episodes, great premiere. These Star Wars series have not disappointed at all. Seeing Ewan McGregor back, he's a great Obi-Wan. He perfectly embodies the character. You see him and instantly it's Obi-Wan. We watch a lot of movies in this space. You see a lot of different actors play a lot of different roles. But there's some roles that actors get into and you don't even see them anymore, and they just transform and be something completely different, and all I see is Obi-Wan. That's it. You know what I mean? And he's such a great actor. Again, just the end of this episode, just the face acting alone. He doesn't say a fucking word, and you can just feel the pain, the anguish, the sorrow, the regret, everything, all from a look. So for me, like, face acting is where it's at, man. It's incredible.
It's crazy when, I don't know if it's just me, but the way the acting and the way of the camera shot, the way he was packing the meat so smoothly and just putting inside him, like, it shows that the process and routine that he's been doing this for 10 years goes in and out. Like, it's the same thing. He goes to his camel, give the food or the meat and everything. But I don't know why, but it was just so done well. Like, he feels like he knows his own character, Obi-Wan, better than anybody else, and I just love that very much.
Yeah, man. Can't wait for episode 3. You guys definitely join us next week, where we're going to be talking about episode 3 right here on Villains. We're also going to be covering whatever other big news comes out of Star Wars Celebration over the next day or so. So definitely stay tuned on the channel for that. Chris, tell the people where they can find you online.
You can find me on Twitter, at Chris Conkling, talking about all things nerdy, comic book, television, movies, collectibles. If it's nerdy, I'm talking about it. You can find my podcast, Popaholics, on Twitter as well, at Popaholics. You can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/Popaholics. And of course, we're on all of your favorite podcast platforms. You can find us there too.
Yes, this month has been very, very fun for me personally. I am a very big Nick Cage fan, and Nick Mage has been a lot of fun.
Yep, we just wrapped up our Nick Mage month for May. in honor of the unbearable weight of massive talent. We watched that movie. We watched Face Off. We watched Leaving Las Vegas, and we watched Raising Arizona. And last night we just recorded the first episode of our Jurassic June month in honor of Jurassic World Dominion coming out. We're kicking it off with Lost World, and you can go to our YouTube channel or subscribe to any of our podcast feeds. That episode will be airing next Wednesday. And then, of course, every Monday we have our weekly uploads in which we go over, weekly industry news, pop culture news, and talk a little bit about what we've been consuming. So,
yeah, these guys are always
Subscribe.
grinding. So, yes, definitely subscribe. Leave them a comment. Let them know that the council sent you. Vash, where can the people find you?
If you could find me, definitely on this channel, because you know what me and Chris did early this week? We did a trailer reaction
we
and
did.
review of Thor: Love and Thunder, the official trailer, not the teaser that's 2 minutes. We did the official trailer, the first official trailer breakdown of Gore the God Butcher, Thor, Chris Hemsworth, Thor, Jane Foster. We had a whole conversation about it, so please go check that out. I appreciate the feedback of everyone that have given that video. We had a lot of fun doing it. It was so last minute, but it was a blast to record it and do it. Definitely go check out the Dragon Ball Super video that myself, Chris, and Kendall also did. We did an hour video breakdown of the whole type of Granola arc and the character of Granola himself, Bardock and everything. So if you're a fan of Dragon Ball Super, please go check that out. It's honestly one of my favorite videos that I've done in my whole career of content creation. It was really one of my favorites.
Happy to be a part of it. Thank you for inviting me.
I appreciate it. Thank you for being there. And Anime Podcast next Wednesday, new nights, Shona Ronin every Sunday after 1 p.m. I'm not going to be there. I know Sam will be running the show. So definitely check that out because they'll be talking about My Hero Vigilantes ended it today on Friday, and One Piece, My Hero Academia, JJK, and other series as well. So definitely go check out the anime channel. That is a brother / the sister brand of the C4S. So please support us, Popaholics, everything, Twitch channel of everyone else, of Abe and Scuba Steve in the Mind of a Blurred. You know the shabam. All the links are down below in the description. Appreciate it, guys.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and you guys can follow me all over social media at JB Exclusive. I'm always talking about movies, always talking about comics and manga on there. So if you want to hear my thoughts, follow me on Twitter. Follow us on carefulforspoilers.com. Check out the website. Has links to all of the podcasts on the C4S Podcast Network. Check out You've Got to See This. Again, like I said, episode 9 is out right now, where they talked about Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, Men, and Jackass 4.5. Those guys have been doing an incredible job on the podcast.
Of films, that
right?
is.
It's all over the place.
That's an interesting flavor of you getting that one podcast. You get like a little extra of craziness, a little of animation there. Like you get a little bit of nice little spice out there.
And Brad and Blake also covers all the biggest movie news every single week. So make sure you guys go subscribe, leave them a comment, leave them a rating, and come back and let us know. Also, check out the merch store, check out the Patreon. It's all on the website right there. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining us on this episode. No, I sound a little hoarse. I've been, a little bit sick this week, but I was so happy to be back and come back and talk about Obi-Wan and a bunch of Star Wars news with my guys right here. So again, thank you everyone in here that showed up in chat. And we will see you guys next week on the next episode of Villains.